going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most special episode of the Viall Files, Going Deeper edition / weddings edition / honeymoon edition / we're in love, we're married, I'm a husband, you're a wife. I have a wedding ring on my finger. Yeah. How's it going? We are recording from our studio in Los Angeles, which if you were watching this on YouTube, you might be like, why aren't they on their honeymoon?
Well, we'll get into that.
We will get into that later in the episode. We have so many stories to share with you, and we are so excited to share them with you. Oh, by the way, the household's here. We got Derek at the desk, who was at the wedding. We got Allie back in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Yep.
Excuse me, Minnesota.
Any of them.
You want to give her street address too?
Sweet boy Justin. Scooter's taking care of her baby right now, and Sierra, who also attended the wedding, is with us as well.
Woo-woo.
Well, I know we're going to get into our wedding and talk about all the beautiful wedding experience, but our guest today is Ava Max, which will follow us talking about our wedding story and our honeymoon experience. And we filmed this episode right before we left for our wedding, so there's a little bit of a callback in terms of where our state of mind was leading up to our wedding. Ava was a wonderful guest. We really appreciate her coming on. It was such a joy to talk with her, and we are excited to have you hear that interview. But before we do, we have to obviously get in to the wedding. Our wedding was fucking awesome.
Yeah, humbly speaking.
Humbly,
it was the best wedding.
Humbly speaking, and I just may I start,
please,
dear?
Please.
I say this as the person who was less involved with the planning process.
Emphasis on less.
Certainly, I was there for the invoices.
Oh. Yes.
But leading up to the wedding, there was some, like, I hope this goes okay. Like, we did this obviously on Natalie's family's farm. So we had a blank canvas.
Yeah.
A beautiful, stunning, gorgeous blank canvas. But like, we didn't do this at some sort of wedding venue that like does weekends.
Yeah, I think that was definitely like a challenging part of like, it's not a wedding venue. This is like a working farm that like my family lives on. So it was like when we started the process of, are we going to get married here? Like I was walking through with our planner, Angela, who's amazing, and Amy, the florist at Harvey Designs. She was also amazing. And we were just walking through and they were kind of like, okay, well, should we cover this with florals? It was like a pump house. And should we take this water trough and move it somewhere. And it's just like, you know what? Let's not try to cover every inch of this venue with florals. Let's just like let it be what it is and it'll be fine.
It was stunning. Basically back to the blank canvas, it was like, man, I hope it all comes together because there's just a million moving pieces. And it was just like, I was over the moon just like the whole weekend long. We're like, wow, it really came together, man. It was stunning. I mean, I was not only while getting married, in the moment, in love, and just had the best weekend ever, but I was just so impressed with the party that Natalie threw. We had a lot of help, obviously, we'll talk about that. But at the end of the day, this was Natalie's vision from the beginning of this planning process. She had a clear vision of what she wanted. I had some ideas in my head of like how this
Which
could
Nick
go.
definitely gave like maybe 3 weeks before the wedding. He's like, oh, I have all of these amazing ideas. What if we did this? And what if we did that? I was like, well, that's a really good idea.
But I also had ideas.
Put it on the fridge.
Well, I more meant like I had ideas of what your vision would look like, per se.
What did you think?
What it ended up being was like the too good to be true version. It was like, well, I think it could go this way, but I want to keep my expectations chill.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, we're just getting married. All that really matters is, I say I do, she says I do, we're in love. And like whatever chaos happens, it's fine. It's going to be fine. But I was just the whole weekend almost just for like, how I was like a guest at my own wedding being like, this is the best fucking party I've ever been to, like.
Yeah.
And we had been to a lot of great weddings. Now, and I had taken notes, here and there. For example, one thing, we didn't have a sit down. We didn't have tables. We didn't do a dinner.
A seating chart.
A seating chart. We had food constantly being served, ready for people to enjoy. We wanted our guests to have fun. We didn't want our guests to be waiting around and getting antsy. We got that idea from Ben and Jess, their wedding.
Okay.
So the whole, like, that was the first time we had noticed that, so we took that idea from them. And so we had been to a couple different weddings and we had a few notes, and we've been to some amazing weddings. I was so proud of she's an artist. She is an absolute artist.
I think a lot of people are kind of doing this like Western theme for their weddings, which we weren't jumping on theme. We weren't like, oh, let's just be like everyone else. I obviously had always wanted to get married on the farm, which is owned by my sister. It's not like something that like again, I did grow up poor. I saw some comments being like, I thought she was poor and now she has this 300-acre farm. Like, no, my sister married a surgeon and she works extremely hard and he works extremely hard, and they like got this farm, and it's been in my family for 20 years. And I definitely grew up going there. She works extremely hard. She runs that entire farm by herself, and she's my sister Amanda. She's a legend. I don't know if any of y'all met her or talked to her at the wedding, but she's insane. So
like in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. I always wanted to get married there, and then we're on a farm, so it just felt right to like really lean into the country of it all. We're in the middle of Georgia, like it's Stagecoach weekend. I'm sure some people were like sad to be missing Stagecoach. So like, you know what? Let's have all of these people from LA, Wisconsin, New York, like put on cowboy boots, put on bolo ties, like wear fringe and suede, and like get on a mechanical bull and eat fried okra and boiled peanuts, and like get them out of their element, and like bring baby sheep and miniature horses and like
miniature horse. Oh my goodness.
Miniature horse. Yeah.
There were goats.
The mini cow.
There were ducks. There were turkeys. There were animals. There's a crocodile.
There's a crocodile?
Yeah. Yes.
The pond has a crocodile.
There was. Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't know that.
So I did just
you know that now. We didn't want to spook our guests.
Yeah. So that's why our welcome party was the theme country chic.
Which I didn't know when we planned our wedding day. As you now know, it fell on Stagecoach. It also fell in the NFL draft weekend, which for many people listening, not important. It is my Christmas. Oh. Like, it is my favorite weekend of the year.
Was your wedding good luck for the Packers?
Absolutely. I felt like they did good. But we planned our weekend based around the almanac. So when we knew we wanted, once we just finally decided to have it at Natalie's sister's farmhouse, it's like, well, when should we have it? The only thing, like, I think you always hear stories about, women thinking about like, oh, I've planned my wedding since I was whatever age or whatever. I haven't done much of that, except that I have always, the only one thing when I thought about my wedding was I wanted it to be black tie.
Oh.
That was it.
Nice tie.
Wherever my wedding was, I wanted it to be black tie. I'm a suit guy. I've mentioned this, like me wearing a suit or a good tuxedo. Like, I'm not a car guy. I don't hunt. I don't fish. Like, that's how I feel my most masculine. It's like in a really good tuxedo. And I just think it's one of those things that most people don't get an opportunity to do. And I'm sure some of our guests, when they found out it was black tie and they had to go get a tux, were like, oh, you're just like. But I'll tell you what, everyone looked phenomenal. Everyone looks good in a tux. I don't care who you are. And to just see like all of my friends and all our friends like dressed up in a tux, like everyone just looks nice,
Not everyone was in a tux. Oh, there were some in gowns.
What?
I'm just saying, like, the women wearing gowns.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Sierra and I weren't wearing tuxes.
Yeah, Nick's like, it was so great to see everyone at our wedding wearing a tux. We made every man, woman, child, animal had to be in a tuxedo.
Yeah, we made everyone wear a tux, even the ducks. No, but for all the people who wore tux, they looked truly fantastic. We knew there would be one asshole who didn't.
There always is.
And it turned out, and it was one of my friends.
Nick thought it was going to be one of your down home, and I was like, no, I don't think so. And it was one of Nick's
the
Wisconsin
absolute person
friends.
I knew. Like, it made so much sense who it was.
Mm-hmm.
But God bless him. I love him. But yeah, I think everyone looks good in a tuxedo. And it's just like, it's such a vibe. When you like take a step back and you kind of just look at the atmosphere, you just see all the men and some of the women wearing tuxedos. It was like it was awesome. You know, it was like, that's the only thing I cared about. But back to planning the weekend of our wedding, it was going to be an outdoor wedding on a farm. So we looked at the almanac. You know, it's okay. It's going to be a black tie wedding. So most of the men are going to be in tuxedos. It's supposed to be black. It's going to be outside. It's Georgia. There's a lot of humidity. It could be very warm. It could be rain. There's a lot of wedding elements. So we busted out the whole almanac and we tried to figure out temperature-wise, what would be the ideal temperature for our wedding? Like low 70s.
I think you guys nailed it.
60s.
Was it
whatever.
not perfect?
It was
Nailed
the
it.
wedding was weather was. People love to talk about the weather when they don't have things to talk about. And then when the weather's really good at a wedding, when people like are looking for that like opening line, that conversation starter with a lot of people who don't know, boy, people talked about the weather like fucking crazy because it was so fucking perfect.
And it even like sprinkled at like 12 o'clock when I got to the farm. I got out of the car and I was like, oh my God, it's sprinkling. I looked up, it was so cloudy. But then everyone's like, when it rains on your wedding day, that's good luck.
Yes, we
so
got
it was
the good
like,
luck.
we got the good luck,
we got
but
the
we
good luck.
also got the beautiful weather.
But yeah, so after we set the date, then it was like, wait, what's that date? And I'm like, oh, it's the NFL draft. Oh, it's Stagecoach. It's like, oh, well, whatever. But yeah, we had not planned on that at all.
So in case anyone is curious, Nick has already informed me that on our first wedding anniversary, the draft is in Green
It's
Bay.
in Green Bay.
So that is where we will be spending our
This is
first
historical for the Green Bay
wedding.
Packers. They're hosting the NFL draft. The lake house that we bought, it's less than an hour away from Green Bay. So
Congratulations.
I was thinking Spain. It's also fine.
Some would say that's destiny, though.
yeah.
A lot of things falling in place.
Some would
But
say.
also, it's not
Nick.
it's not for sure that the NFL week, the draft will be on the same.
Mm.
When is look up the date for the NFL draft 2025, Justin, for me, or Allie. let's real.
Let's see.
And they're like, and it is April
The
27th. And it is indeed April 27th.
No, technically your anniversary is going to be on a Sunday this year, and it ends Saturday the 26th.
Hell,
so
well,
Well,
we will.
we'll be there for the weekend.
Well, not necessarily.
You can book a flight.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you can get pretty far in a day, you know?
Yeah, yeah, we realized that.
you could get to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
We could get some things in place.
Allie's like, we could do a little something.
Yeah, there's some nice hotels.
Yeah.
So I'm curious of like, obviously I knew what the welcome party was going to look like and be like. I designed it from scratch and had all these ideas. But for the three of y'all that were there walking in.
Really, the four of us, because when it
Oh,
came
yeah,
to
you're
our
right,
when
yes.
it came to our wedding, I knew a handful of the details. But when it came to the wedding party, I knew we had a mechanical bull, but I didn't really know much. So I walked in and I was just like over the moon, just being like, oh my God, this is such a cool welcome to our party. This is the greatest party of all time. I was just such an awe.
First of all, we had the like old Savannah trolley tour buses bringing everyone from downtown Savannah to the farm, which I don't know if that went smoothly.
Such a nice touch.
Oh,
Such a nice touch. We met up with Nick's family out front, and like Katie and Dana, we're all staying at the same hotel. And it was so seamless, so easy. And it's just so cute. These like white little trolleys, and we're sitting there on the little benches. Everybody has their drink and they're like, where are we going? And then we finally pull into the farm, and it was just so picturesque, you guys. Like we got out and we're like, oh my God. Like there's like the white picket fences. We're looking at horses, and like I'm that type of person that, because I'm from Southern California, so driving along the freeway, I'm like, horse, cow. And I'm like, oh my God, horses, cow. Like I was crying. Like it was so beautiful. And everybody like dressed up to a T for this theme for the cowboy chic, or Western chic,
country chic.
country chic.
Yeah.
It was like everybody killed it. Like where I was
They
just
really did.
yeah. And then when y'all came in, first of all, Natalie's dress,
Stunning.
everyone like
Amazing.
speechless. Like I'm not even kidding you guys. Like I was like I could cry for you because it was that beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the welcome party because I just really enjoyed just how welcoming it was. But I liked that it was a situation where you're going in and just felt like such good energy. It felt like you can do things at your own pace. You can talk to who you want to talk to. It just like, it wasn't like, here's a schedule, like go along with it. It was very like, everyone just got chances to mingle. It was honestly like really awesome.
No, it was really fun. When did welcome parties like become a thing for weddings?
I think it's because so that on the wedding day, you're not having to like talk to every single person. So it's like welcome party is like everyone comes, you get that out of the way. So on the wedding day, you're just like enjoying it. You're not having to like, thank you so much for coming and like, oh, how was your trip? You know, you're not having to like have that small talk.
It's a
with all
really
your
nice
guests.
touch because for those reasons, like you would have thought that we would have that we sent a message to all our guests saying like, well, just make sure you mingle and you're very friendly. It's like it is as if we instructed them to do so because like everyone really took advantage and we were going around and everyone like every time we would say hi to someone, it was like, oh, we just met so and so and everyone's so nice and oh my God, this place is beautiful. Like everyone made us feel like they were coming to our wedding and they got a like surprised bonus tour of a real life Yellowstone farm. They're like, oh my God, I did not expect this. Like it's like something like a someone who watches Westerns their whole life, pays like for like a real life immersive experience at a farm. And that's what they got out of our wedding. And like that, and again, we have a million things to like Natalie's sister Amanda and her husband John, but it was a really cool feeling to see our guests enjoy themselves so much at the welcome party.
Oh yeah, everybody was so nice, and every single person that I met or I've like met loosely, just so kind. And then I love how you guys had just like this gorgeous long table in the center, and the food, not only was it delicious, but it was just like you would just sit down and somebody would come up being like, hey, is anybody sitting here? And the next thing you know, like we're best friends.
Love. That was my dream. I really wanted this like really long, windy, they call it a serpentine table. And I really wanted it just in the middle of the pasture, super long, super windy with a bunch of like drapey linens on it and the candles and just have, the food. We had barbecue and pulled chicken or shredded chicken and fried okra, mac and cheese, fries, boiled peanuts.
That mac and
Which-
cheese. When I saw a photo of it, I was like,
It was so good.
It's delicious. Yeah.
So good. First time having boiled peanuts ever.
I heard it was like, I've
Same
heard
here.
so many funny stories. It's so funny because my best friend / maid of honor, Chambliss, her family owns a produce stand in Savannah called Davis Produce and very well known, very popular. And so they sell boiled peanuts. And I was like, I need y'all to like bring the boiled peanuts. Her cousin Randy was like going to come out, have the like pot, like give people like instructions on how to eat them. But it didn't like turn out that way. And he was like, I really wish like that is how it would have happened. Cause I saw people with like knife and fork, like cutting it. I saw people like
City slickers eating peanuts.
Eating the whole thing. Allie, is that what you did? You just swallowed the whole peanut?
First of all, she took it off my plate. Didn't watch how it was being done.
No, I don't know. I just reached over to Sierra's plate and I grabbed something and I threw it in my mouth and then I crunched down several times. I was like, something's wrong. Like,
This isn't right.
You're like, do they need to boil it more? Like,
Yeah.
what the
It's like,
heck?
oh, it's chewy.
Yeah, it's
She goes, are you supposed to eat the shell? And I just go, do you ever?
Literally, do you
honest,
ever? What a great
I
question.
didn't know it was a peanut. It was just this like thing. I don't know. I thought
What
it was
is
like
it?
popcorn
It looked
chicken
like
or something.
peanuts.
They look like peanuts, right?
It looks like a planter's peanut.
I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, I feel like that was really fun to just hear everyone like, I tried these these soft peanuts and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I think everyone enjoyed them. But that was a really funny touch, I think.
wait, so do you crack it open?
Yeah.
So what you do is you put it in your mouth and you crack it with your teeth. You suck the juice out because it's like full of salty juice. You take it out and then you crack it open with your hands
It like turns
And you-
into peanut butter.
and you
kinda.
eat peanut butter.
Like it's soft,
No.
It's just
I'll
like
shut
peanut
shut the fuck
butter.
up.
It doesn't get creamy. It's like an edamame. It's just like a
Yeah.
cooked bean.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
like
you
a
just
bean.
eat the beans out of it and you throw
Um,
the shells.
The country edamame, right?
country.
and it turns into peanut butter.
Noted.
Speaking of which, Nick was very much engulfed in his country era. I overheard him introduce someone to his dad, and he goes, "That's my daddy." And I went, "Daddy,"
Daddy.
and he just went. I was like, "Okay, okay, country boy."
I was in my element. I was, now I got up on a horse for the photos.
Oh.
It was stunning.
Your wedding photos too. Just
Gorgeous.
wow.
Yes.
So good. And then I will say after the first night, it put me at ease because I was worried that this was going to be the most expensive hot mess of our lives. Just because you just don't know how this shit's going to come together. It's just a lot of moving pieces.
It is hard, I feel like, when you have like the vision and you have all these like inspiration photos and you like think you know what it's going to be, but you don't actually get to see what it looks like until like moments before everyone is there. Like there is no like calling the florist and being like, could you show me like a mock-up of what like this could be? It's like, that's not a thing. You just have to trust in all of these people that they also understand your vision and execute it in the way that you would.
But after the welcome party, I was like, I think this weekend might turn out. It might be pretty great.
I saw your dad on the bull.
My dad got on the bowl.
So good. Everyone who obviously it was like hard because a lot of the women wore dresses and so it's like not really ideal, but I do feel like a good amount of people rode the bull.
Yeah, I think a handful of people got, the alcohol was flowing.
Yeah.
We had very much an open bar.
You
Yeah.
did.
The bar tab, we had to get more alcohol for the weekend. But it was like whatever. When
Derek, oops.
Oopsies.
I hope you wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, I asked him to get more.
Yeah,
No,
but people got loose, which is great. And yeah, as the night went on, more people were like, I can ride that bull.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Your father.
We also had the bold idea to do an open mic for speeches on Welcome Party, which like definitely is not. There was no like organization. It was not like, my mom being like, all right, and now I'm going to hand it over to Nick's father, and Nick's father being like, now I'm going to give it. There was no organization. And honestly, no one really had any speeches prepared.
I wondered if my sister Maria's was so good.
No, I think she was very much taken when I was like, could you give a speech, please? She was like,
We
when?
asked my sister Maria to like kick things off like on Friday, but like, can you just like kind of welcome people, just keep it casual? What do you want to say? And
But it ended up being Tristan Watson who got up there first and was like, hello, everyone. You all look gorgeous. And I'm loving everyone that is here. And thank you so much for coming.
He's very funny. He's an entertainer. And then, but my sister went and gave an amazing speech. It was almost as if she was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to give a speech, but I'm just going to like prepare one just in case.
It was open mic, but not for her. That's why she was like,
exactly.
Got to come with it.
Well, the thing is that my sister Caroline and my brother Jackson, I had heard through the grapevine that they like had prepared something in case I were to ask them to give a speech. So I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, sure. Yeah. Like welcome party. Well, like the floor is open. Sure. Well, then apparently turns out the only thing my sister Caroline had prepared was, in quotes, it is rare for an older sister to look up to a younger sister, but that is what I do with Natalie because she's taller. And it was like, that is the only sentence she had prepared. And there was nothing else. And so whenever I was like, Caroline, to the mic, I heard you prepared something. She was like,
She's like, wait.
She's like, no, I don't have anything prepared. But that's kind of how it went. It just like someone would end and I would be like, Justin, time for you to
So
speak.
it was the Hunger Games. That's what
Literally, it was the Hunger Games.
Well,
People were
now
fighting
I
for
started
the-
really enjoying it, and then a few of our guests like took it upon themselves to go up. The same friend who wore a navy blue suit to the wedding also gave a speech. I was laughing my ass off. Do you remember which one?
He said,
It was the friend who, in this speech, talked about. He goes, "Yeah, and this like one time, Nick and I went to Cancun."
and everyone was like, oh, what
Okay,
the
I'm like, what?
Where are we going?
Like, where is this going? And I was like, did he hook up with a bunch of ladies? Like, but it was like
what?
it was the classic like friend speech that goes off the rail, and they like decide to go up to the mic with definitely not any preparation, and it's like they don't know where to go with the speech, so they just say this most random fucking shit. And then one time he was just like, then like, and Nick and I went to Cancun together, and it's just like, holy fucking shit. I was
Natalie needed a
crying
button
laugh.
of like the Oscar music
Yeah.
to just start like
Play 'em all.
Literally, I saw one of his friends who I know is, bless his heart, and I saw him kind of walking up, and I was like, no, play music, and then he just walked past the mic, and I was like, oh my god.
Crisis averted.
Yeah, but it honestly, even those were great. All the speeches were wonderful.
My
like,
dad,
I lost it.
my dad
I-
gave
Oh,
one.
yeah.
And the song playing in the background, and then
Yeah.
he referenced the song, and I was like, was this coincidence or was this supposed to happen? Because I'm done.
Yeah. My dad's speech, I learned after the fact that he had like 3 pages prepared, but he could not get through it because he was sobbing so much that
Which
it was
is
just very
honestly-
quick.
That's
Yeah.
all Natalie needed.
Yeah.
I
It was very sweet.
I wasn't sure if he had it in him, but he really delivered.
Oh,
He
It was
really did.
it was a very much from the heart speech that, I mean, honestly, I felt like you've been waiting for your big part of your life.
I was always, I think,
Sorry, I'm getting
nervous.
emotional.
Yeah, I definitely was always nervous of like how my wedding would go because I didn't have the typical like
Sorry.
He's trying. He's trying.
I cried so much this weekend.
It's very
Stop.
emotional.
Why are you laughing?
Listen, I didn't know like is my dad gonna walk me down the aisle not only for like just relationship status but like health status. Like for a long period of our wedding planning process, it was like he's knocking on death's doors, and it's like that's why we really couldn't push our wedding back any further because it's like I don't know if my dad will be there. And thank God he was, and he, you know, he's in a wheelchair, he couldn't stand, but like we made it work, and he gave this speech that yeah, I definitely have always like I wondered my whole life if I would get it, and I did, and it I mean, I think made everyone in the audience cry, and he definitely said like my mom told me later, which I'm surprised I didn't know this, but I was the only one that he was in the delivery room for. So my other siblings, he was not. I don't know really what those reasons were, but he referenced being in the delivery room and like, you know, holding my hand and, you know, it was very emotional. And then he goes and, you know, I loved her first. And that song is playing in the background. And he goes, and that is a song by Heartland.
Yeah.
He like gives the credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
That is a song by Heartland. He was like, but it is true. But no, it was very special. And then Derek got up and gave a speech.
Oh yeah, I did.
I was really proud of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the table said I should go up and even if someone gets in front of me, I should just stay there.
You did a great job.
Wait, can I get a
Okay.
rendition? What was?
It was actually really good.
Oh, was it?
It was
Do you
pretty
feel like
good.
you, like,
I can't-
black-
Yeah, no.
Do you feel like you blacked out? Like, do you feel like you remember what you said?
I had like college graduation level blackout. Like when I went up, I was just like, oh.
No idea what I said.
No, but I don't know. Like I just wanted to like say something that felt. It is
from the
true.
heart.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Like your life's changed a lot, and it's just you have to be open to it. So I don't know. I was really proud of you guys. I don't know.
It was so
I was
sweet.
feeling it.
Very
I was
sweet.
feeling it. There's some good speeches. So
I was like, that's my guy.
Oh.
Yeah. It was so sweet. Q, his DS from Special Forces.
Yeah, he made
Got
it.
up
He gave
and
a
gave
very
a
nice
speech.
speech.
My two sisters and a brother gave a speech. She told the story about me being Helen Keller, which definitely everyone loved.
In a play.
In a play.
In a
Oh.
play.
Yes, when I
Like,
was her in the
now you-
community theater play.
My sister, Peter, my groomsman, gave a speech. It was all like back to like us taking notes at other weddings. I wanted people to have fun. You guys have heard us talk, certainly heard me talk about like when it's your wedding, it's your day and kind of fuck everybody else. And we certainly, you know, had that in terms of like, this is a you and our, like it's us this weekend, you know, we were very connected, but we were throwing a party. But we wanted our guests to, and once the guests got there, we wanted them to enjoy themselves, you know? So it was more like, all I cared about is the logistics. I didn't want people waiting around. I didn't want people to be hungry. I didn't want people to be thirsty. I wanted the vibes to be good, you know, all those things, you know? And so like we've all been to weddings where the speeches just go on and on and on. And then there's like this 20-minute speech where it's just like, we didn't need the entire story of your relationship, you know? And so like those speeches were all like great, you know, they were just a nice little, like everyone just said their piece. It was always from the heart, you know, a few jokes here or there, but like no one, you know, the people who try to be so funny and it's just like, you know, it becomes like a roast where it's just like, well, this is awkward, you know, there's none of that,
Yep.
you know, it was all really good and from the heart and I think everyone really enjoyed them. So I was really happy with that.
I also feel like, and like correct me if y'all didn't feel this way, but I think both the welcome party and the wedding, it wasn't by the book. Like we didn't take it so seriously. Like at the welcome party, like me calling people out to give speeches. Like I felt like it was just fun and relaxed. And during
That's
the
so
wedding,
true.
like when I walked out, and we'll get to that, but I feel like I definitely like spoke during the ceremony when I think most people probably would just be like, just keep going. I don't know if I should say something. Like, and my photographer, Sarah Partain, she was like, who's a great friend of ours. She has captured many, many moments of our lives.
If you can get her to photograph your wedding.
Yeah, or anything. She is great. But she said you broke that fourth wall, and I think that was like extremely charming for everyone to witness.
It really was that way where it's just like the party turned out so well, but like we kept it kind of loose. We didn't do a rehearsal.
No.
for the
No, you
ceremony.
didn't. No, God, no.
Like we didn't have time, we had a baby, and
Yeah.
I guess the mentality was like, how complicated can it be
To walk.
to walk and get married? Charlene and Andy are dear friends who Natalie met the first weekend we had ever met, and are two people who are confidants of mine, and like people I really go to for, I guess advice at times, and like so that we asked them to marry us. I knew they would do an excellent job,
Which they did.
in which they did.
was a lot
They
of-
absolutely, they absolutely crushed, and that's the thing. We picked the people we knew would do well. It was like, a note for anyone getting married. Natalie had two maids of honor. I didn't have any best men, so like all my groomsmen. Me being a bit older, all my groomsmen were men who had been like my closest friend at various points of my life. So all of my groomsmen, had I gotten married in my early 20s, my friend Joe, who was a groomsman, would have been my best man. If I had gotten married in my late 20s, my longtime high school friend Marcos would have been my best man. When I moved to LA, my groomsman Kyle, who I lived with, who is a big reason why I'm sitting here today, would have been my best man. And so I had them all be my groomsmen, but I didn't have a best man. I was like, they're all my best men.
Yeah.
But Jared, another groomsman who, lived with me and was a big part of my life and a close friend, there was a part where he could have been my best man. Jared gave my best man speech. Why? Because Jared's an excellent public speaker, and so and our Andy and Charlene, when they got married, Andy, who gave his best man speech, wasn't his best man. It was his friend who's also a comedian, because his best man is someone who was like, yeah, you're my best man, but like, I'm not letting you give the speech. It's your wedding, And so pick the people who can perform and deliver and are comfortable in that setting. It doesn't, it's your wedding. You can do whatever you want. So we took advantage of that. It's just like, we don't have to go by the rules. I don't care what people do or what people say. Like, this is what's going to happen and play out that way. And so like, we did not stress about those little details of like, well, it's not, or, oh my God, you can't. It's just like, I don't know. Like, and that's why we didn't do a rehearsal for the wedding, because we just didn't have time. But we were also like, well, whatever happens, like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like if there's a quote unquote a mistake for, it's no one's going to care. No, it doesn't really matter. It's
Right.
all part of it's all part of the story, and that makes it that much more enjoyable.
Yeah. So today, I definitely do want to, before we go any further, give like the biggest, loudest shout out to Macy Weissner. She is the designer of Cinq, CINQ.
I absolutely love her. She
designed all 3 of my wedding looks. Hope Levine, she is the bridal stylist. She like curated all of my we all, Macy's sister Madeline, we all 4 worked together to like create all 3 of my looks. And I feel like we became family throughout the process. They all came to the wedding as guests.
And they were just, I want to say, lovely. They were professional. They were good people. They were just lovely. And I say this because planning a wedding, for those of you who have done it before, not to like kill a really great vibe, but the wedding industry, it's organized crime.
Oh yeah. As soon as you say something is like, oh, it's for a wedding, it's like,
Yeah, here's negotiating for your wedding. It's just
Yeah.
like, hi, I'm looking for a haircut. I just need a haircut on April 26th. Like, oh, why so far out? Oh, I'm getting married. Oh, that'll be $5,000. It's like, fuck. Like, I thought you charged like $75 for a haircut. Well, it's just like, So here's the
Yeah.
thing about the wedding industry across the board. Then this is the sentiment. I'll keep it fairly light. But the vibe that the most, and that's why I love those ladies who did your wedding dress, because they didn't do this or give us that vibe. But the vibe that every vendor gives you is, well, you're never going to hire us again. It's a one-off. They all know that this is the only time they're ever going to work with you. They have no incentive to earn your business back. And even if, if things don't work out and you get married down the line, you're not going to hire the same vendors. They know that, And so it just really sucks to be treated knowing that these people don't have to earn your business back. And if I have to hear one more fucking time, well, this is how it is, it's like, no, it's not. They're just all car salesmen just jacking up their fucking price, and you got to figure out how low they can go, but it's like, it really kills the vibe of the planning process. I will say, that despite all that, all the vendors except for one, and we'll get into that story later, despite my frustrations leading up to the wedding, and again, special shout out to those ladies at Sync, because they were just an absolute gem. Here's a lesson to everyone. If you're going to be a pain in the ass, better be fucking good at your job.
Shit.
Because leading up, you know, I had my frustrations with the planning process. I had my frustrations with the negotiating process. But the vendors we got to work with, I will say, they were fucking professionals. They delivered. They got their, you know, they crushed it. Except for one. Be fucking good. You know, if you're going to be a pain in the ass, if you're going to have, if you're going to only work a certain way and not be flexible, and you're going to charge a premium because it's their wedding, you better show up and you better fucking deliver. And I will say the vast majority of our vendors absolutely did that. And they, you know, it feels good to know that despite those frustrations leading up, that, you know, they know how to be a part of a wedding. They know how to put out, you know, they know how to do their job right. And we felt like we were in very good hands with the vendors that we had worked with. So that part, that was the positive of it. So be fucking good at your job if you're going to be a pain in the ass.
Clip it. Day of.
I was say also as a guest, like we don't know if anything went wrong or wasn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So I'm like, unless there's just like something like hanging off, like that's just clearly not supposed to be there. Like you just look around and you're like, this came together so beautifully. Like we wouldn't know. So I'm like, if there was any stress or any issues leading into it, could have fooled me.
But it was more like, yeah, from our end,
yeah, seamless.
What could have gone wrong for you guys is you guys could have been inconvenienced. Like the trolleys could have been late. We didn't want to host Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Like that was honestly my fear.
It's a good analogy.
It's like, oh my God, we're going to have people come here and they're going to be like
stranded,
a trolley's going to go the wrong direction and end up on Tybee Island.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like
the ceremony.
Yeah. You know, it's just like,
they had a cheese sandwich for dinner.
Right. You know, we didn't want people to show up for the ceremony and sit there for 50 minutes.
How long did y'all sit there before we walked down? Was it a long time?
Honestly, couldn't tell you. It wasn't.
That's all we know.
Yeah, we were just talking. Everybody was meeting everyone. I had JWoww in front of me. Like I was like, I'm not mad. Take your time.
Sit it forever.
Appropriate amount of time. Like it was like just like no one thought anything of it.
Okay,
honestly,
good. We're looking at a gorgeous lake.
That made me so happy. And oh my God,
yeah, the surrounding.
I'm fast forwarding, but when the wedding got done at the end of the night, I was just like, "This, babe, you just threw the best wedding." I was just like over the moon. I was just like a kid in a candy store, just like glowing about like I did not expect to feel like this was the wedding of my dreams.
Oh.
So, oh my God. I really didn't, you know, like I wanted to give Natalie the wedding of her dreams, but like it just was all worth it. You know, it really was. I just at the end of the weekend, I was like, this is the best fucking weekend of my life. Like I was so proud of us, you know, more proud of Natalie, but just like we did this. Like it was like the first thing we did as husband, as wife, and as wife is like throw our own wedding and threw it in a way that like I think made us so proud. Anyway, so morning of, you can start.
Nick and I got an Airbnb downtown. We like stayed together Friday night. We have a daughter. Like we're not, you know, can't do the whole like
sleep separate.
Yeah, literally.
Not to mention we live together. It's like, oh my God.
Also, not to mention we did sin and we did have a child before our wedding. So like I guess I technically could have worn, what are you supposed to wear? Like down the aisle, like white
Scarlet
is
letter.
because you're like, yeah, like, yeah, I definitely like could have gone that route. But no, so we stayed together. We woke up and, you know, I started hair and makeup. My bridesmaids, who were my 4 sisters, and then my 2 best friends were maids of honor. So Victoria Fuller, I chose her because I felt like she really knew our relationship the best. She had spent the most time with us. She knew Nick very well. She knew me very well. I just felt like she could speak to our relationship the best. And then my best friend, Chambliss Williams from Savannah, who I've been friends with for years. I felt like she knew me personally the best. So that's why I had the both of them as maids of honor. Anyway, so we all came to the Airbnb, got ready together, ordered Chick-fil-A for breakfast, of course. Wouldn't be a party for me without Chick-fil-A. And my mom, Nick's mom, we all just got ready together. Nick left, went to a hotel, met all of his groomsmen there and got ready. And then I didn't want to like get ready at that Airbnb, like put on my dress or like do any sort of like photos at an Airbnb. So we took everything out to the farm and did it inside of my sister's house, which I told her probably a little bit late in advance, but I was like, it's okay. We'll just use this one room. So she like perfected that room. And it honestly,
photographed so well.
I'm so glad that we did
I
it. It
didn't-
feels so special now to like have photos in, like that house means so much to me. That property means so much to me. And so to like be able to have the photos getting dressed and like my mom putting on my veil and, you know, Victoria spraying me with the perfume that she bought me. And it just all felt really, really special to do it there. So, and then we went and did our first look.
Yeah.
Which-
The guys got dressed. We should have got dressed at the hotel, but that was the first like, oh shit, like we were running out of time, you know, like I got a little nervous, but because we got ready in a trailer outside on the farm.
Okay.
Our wedding planner, Angela, who absolutely crushed it the week of, and really like all the things I cared about in terms of everything going smoothly, Angela and our other planner, Victor, a family friend, they absolutely crushed it. And so we kind of showed up a bit late, had to rush to get ready and do our first look.
Which we weren't even going to do. Nick did not want to do a first look.
Yeah, I wanted the first moment of me seeing Natalie and to her coming down the aisle, but our photographer, Sarah, you know, convinced us that this is you're gonna be glad you did, which we got so many good photos.
But also I think it's not, she really made a point of being like, if y'all don't do this first look, like the first time you'll get to spend time with each other is at 5:30 at night. Like
Right.
your whole
Mm.
day, you won't see each other at all the whole day. So, and I think that I am really glad we did the first look. We did it down in a pasture with this really big oak tree that had all this like Spanish moss hanging from it. It was really,
it's a
really
stunning
whimsical.
tree. It's a tree you would write about in a fairy tale. Truly, it's massive. It's probably hundreds of years old, and it's got again the Spanish moss hanging down. And in this particular moment of the day where we did our first look, the wind was blowing. And I say that only because like it just like if you know there's videos out there, we'll certainly post more. But like it's blowing in a way that's so like dramatic, you
Mhm.
know, and like on the photos and the videos, it looks so perfect. Like
all the tree, all the Spanish moss is like it was extremely
it's like you
magical.
could not have, you know, asked for anything better.
Yeah, you like hear the wind blowing like through the trees,
So
and it
great.
creates like a sound that like you don't hear in LA much, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Ever.
yeah, ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just they're like, Nick, turn around, don't look. I'm literally like crunching my toes and biting my cheek. I'm trying not to cry, you know. And like I turn around, I do this really. I'm an ugly crier, and I like when I don't even start crying. I start like blubbering, like it all just comes out, and my body convulses. Like I'm laughing, you know. It's just like I don't know it, and I look like I'm laughing. It's like I'd prefer like a more single tear situation.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my emotions take the best of me. But the first look for anyone out there who's planning a wedding and wants to save it for that moment, as someone who wanted to save it for the moment of walking down the aisle, honestly, I'm glad we did what we did. It was just her and I, you know, having that moment. It was special. We were alone. We got to spend more time together. It was just me, her, and River, you know, just doing our thing while people got ready. And it didn't take away from anything.
Yeah, I just wore the dress. I didn't do any of like the veil or anything like that. So I feel like there was still something to save for the ceremony. But what did you I'm curious. I feel like I asked you this several times throughout the process of like, what do you think my dress is going to look like? Did it like
Well, Natalie would do this thing where, you know, she would show me pictures of other brides. She'd be like, well, what do you think of this? And I'm like, I'm not answering that question.
he didn't know like if it looked like my dress or didn't. So he didn't
Because,
want to be
what-
like, that's so
what-
ugly.
like, oh, I hate that. Oh, no, I really like that. Because I had no idea what she went with. So I was like,
It was a trap.
it was an absolute trap. It was an absolute trap that I did not fall into. Her wedding dress was absolutely perfect. It was one thing I know about Natalie. She has impeccable taste, flawless taste. It's insane how good her taste is. When she was wedding dress shopping, I gave her she asked about some preferences. like, to me, Natalie is gorgeous, the most gorgeous person in the world. No offense to anyone else listening. I'm biased. I see her, I'm like, what?
Someone's like, how
The
fucking dare
most?
you?
Like, Jesus
hell?
Christ,
Yeah.
the most. I wanted the dress to compliment her,
Mhm.
not the other way around. And so you don't have to overdo it. In a way. It's a wedding dress, obviously. But she shined. And it was.
Wait, I feel like it's you wanted me to compliment the dress, not the
No,
dress to compliment me, right?
No, you want the dress to compliment you
Yeah,
because
you're the star.
Yeah.
You're the
Oh,
star.
right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you made the dress look as good as it does. As great as our those ladies are. Yeah, it's like it looked stunning. I had no expectations, but it was better than I could have imagined. She looked phenomenal. 12 weeks after having a baby.
Yeah.
I think
It was it's so funny because I feel like during the wedding dress shopping process, I was I don't know how many weeks pregnant, but I went like end of July and
before it was like right before you started showing.
yeah, so I went to in the first place I went to, I put on a dress and
Calls me up. I found it.
I found the one.
I found the dress.
We did the whole like,
I'm gonna
are you
buy
saying yes to the dress? Like, yes to the dress. We like pop champagne. It was like this whole thing.
She
And then
called me
he's
up.
like, we've got to put half of it down today. I'm like, right now? He's like, yep. So I called Nick and I'm like, so they want half of the dress down right now. And Nick's like, are you sure this is the one? Because I had like 3 other appointments at different places. And I was like, yeah. He's like, why don't you like put it on hold, go to these other places, and then so thank God that's what I did.
Like, enjoy the weekend. They had a whole weekend planned, and it was her first. It's like, of course she's gonna fall in love with the dress. So like, this is go enjoy the weekend. Every place she went to, she was like, I found the dress.
I did. The second place we went to, Galia Laval, I found a dress there. My mom like cried. It was this whole moment. And then Sync was the third place we went to. And honestly, I think it was just like Madeline and Macy are from Alabama. Hope is from Florida. They had this very just like down home, welcoming vibe. I felt like I was amongst friends. And I think it's one thing to like try on dresses in a dress shop with like a sales associate, someone who can talk to you about the dresses. But I think it's something completely different to do it with the designer.
Mm-hmm.
And she really just like knew, how to accessorize it. And she knew how to show these dresses to me in a way that I feel like I wouldn't have been able to experience anywhere else. And so once I put on, it's called the Gale, named after her grandmother. Once I put that dress on, we definitely all in the room 100% knew it. It had this, this corseted top. It had these sleeves that, had one that went around the neck as like a scarf. It had this silk tulle that kind of had this like wrinkled effect to it, which I really, really loved. It just didn't feel super like pristine and clean and sterile. It just had all this like, I don't know, this movement, and it was just really ethereal and romantic. And I definitely fell in love with that one. And it's so funny to say because her new collection came out and I was seeing them post this new dress and I was like, oh my God, I think I want to change. Like, I think I love this dress that you're posting more. And so we went in, I tried on that dress and we like did the whole thing and we were like, I think this is it. And like my mind was changed and it was on this different dress. And Macy was like, well, let's just put the Gale on one more time to just like solidify it. And as soon as I put the Gale on, I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, no, 1,000,000% it's this one. That was insane.
So moral of the story is Natalie likes to wear a wedding dress.
Yeah, I was like, I had so much fun. Yeah. So I am really glad that I went with that one. I do feel like it was perfect.
You looked like a Renaissance princess.
Truly.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Straight out
Yeah.
of fairy tale.
That was
Really?
the words I needed.
Because you got the gloves too.
Had the gloves.
Oh,
That's
the
what I'm
gloves
saying.
were
Like
such a nice touch.
they
Yeah.
knew how to accessorize it. They knew, like, I would have never, I'm not a real glove girl. I would have never thought to like put gloves with it
Very
or,
hot. It was hot.
Were the gloves the garter? Like, was that the replacement?
oh my God. Yeah, we did not do the garter.
Yeah,
we did
Sarah.
not do, we did absolutely not. We did not do any of that. But yeah, we did the first look and then everyone kind of got seated we had golf carts bringing some people down to the ceremony site. Some people walked. It was a beautiful walk. You like walk past pastures of horses and people could take pictures and whatnot. We had this like drapery over this big magnolia tree with our welcome sign. And then it's, again, not a wedding venue. It is my sister's house. So there wasn't anything for like me to hide behind. It was just an open field. So I'm like, we need to like build doors. So Victor spent, I don't know how long, but he built these doors.
What's the name of Victor's company?
Laced Vinyl Shop.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Period.
And he built these doors that, I don't know if people, could y'all see me when I got out of the
No.
car?
I tried.
No, absolutely
You
not.
did.
Whoever was driving that car like should work for like the royal family, because I was like, this is like a black ops. I don't even know.
Yes.
Where did she go?
Oh, great. Okay, that's awesome. But yeah, because I was like, I want to go down in a car. And my sister's like, what car? I'm like, her husband drives this like lime green Tacoma. She's like, no, I'm like, absolutely not. So she's like, get in the Land Rover. And I think some people are like, do they have a Land Rover brand deal? Because I like pull up in this Land Rover. No, it's just my sister's car. But, and I got out with River, which I wanted to be a surprise to Nick. It was obviously a surprise to, I think, anyone in the audience. And she's the best baby ever. She's perfect and she never cries, but she was so angry in that car. And as soon as I got out, she was like, she wasn't like screaming, crying, but she was doing that like,
Which
like,
I immediately felt so proud. Oh, God. But like she announced herself, like
just let it happen.
I was glad she cried. Like it felt like my daughter was like saying, I'm here too, and like I was glad that she like spoke up, like she said hi to the audience. Like to me, it was perfect. It was perfect timing that she made that noise. And like she's like the most quiet baby, even like at, our dear friend Shug, who's also our babysitter, like she would stay with, like we've, she came as a guest, but so she helped out. And she would like, pick her spots of bringing River out, but even like through like, and we kept her away from like the real loud noise, but like even with people, like she just slept. She was just chilling. But that one moment when Natalie got out of the car, she said hi.
Yeah.
And to me, that was perfect because, like we'll always go back, and when River gets older, we'll have the videos of River, speaking up and being like, that's me, and like had she just slept through the whole thing, it just wouldn't have been quite the same. So I thought it was amazing that she cried.
I definitely was like, please stop crying. You're ruining the moment. This isn't what I wanted.
I loved it.
And then when I saw someone post a video. I don't know exactly who it was. Was it you? It might have been you.
me.
It might have been you. I watched it and you could hear her and it was like the most perfect sound. And because it wasn't this like screeching crying where you're like, oh my God, someone help that baby. It was just this like, she was just like talking. I don't know. And so I walked out with her. My mom came up from the front. I gave her to my mom, had a little moment with my mom, grabbed my bouquet, and then continued down the aisle and met my dad, who was sitting in the front. And Nick came up to meet my dad, kind of shook his hand, and we went up. But I walked out, and I think I said, River hates me, because she just was like, it was not.
I have it on video.
Yeah. I'm just like, River hates me.
And then that's where Natalie broke the fourth wall.
Yeah.
We didn't do the rehearsal. So we didn't, Natalie had two maids of honor. You shouldn't, like her veil was a bit bunched. And so
Andy had started his speech. She was like, welcome to the, and then I looked back and I was like, no. I didn't go, can someone fix my dress? And so then my sister, Emily, jumps up and she does it. I had two things. I had what Macy calls a watteau attached to like my back maybe. And it was like this really long thing. And then a veil that was in my hair. And my sister just fixed one of them. And so then Chambliss and Victoria jump up and they fix the two dresses. And I turned back around and Andy was like, I said, okay, you can continue. And he said, from the top. And I said, from the top. And so we just completely started over.
And it was great. Everyone laughed. It was, again, a very relaxed ceremony, right? Would you agree? Like,
Truly.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it was like, but it was also like seamless. You know what I mean? Like even from like the river moment to like everybody walking out and like, I like that you guys didn't have your wedding parties up there. It was just about like the two of you up there. But yeah, no, it was seamless.
Andy Charlene gave a beautiful speech, I guess, ceremony. I guess, what would you call it? I mean, they did great.
They were excellent co-officiants
Yes.
of the ceremony.
And they went back and
then
forth.
my sister, who's like the biggest reality TV fan, they come walking down the aisle. Stunning couple, by the way. And Marissa elbows me and she's like, "You didn't tell me Charlene was doing this." And I was like, these are friends from New York. And she's like, "You don't know who she is?" And I was like, "No." But they were amazing.
They're very special people to us, and they did a great job. And then it came to our vows, which we wrote. Natalie crushed.
Oh yeah.
I felt like I went for the heart, you know. I went from the heart.
From the heart to the heart, you know.
Yeah, from the heart to the heart.
It's authentic.
You know, and obviously there's like everyone's like, yours has got to be better than Natalie's, you know. But I thought mine were, I felt like the overall sentiment was, Nick, your vows were really great. They were very sweet. You made us cry. They were very nice. Natalie's were awesome. But they were. I mean, they were so good. They made everyone laugh and cry. And it was, I thought it was, I had so many friends come up to me and tell me how they're like, yeah, your vows were really good. Natalie's were great. Because they were fantastic. And how could I argue with all the nice things she said about me?
There it is.
I was not in any way surprised, but equally still impressed with how great they were. And I think everyone just really enjoyed them. Because again, not everyone's vows are, you know.
They felt like so personal, but in a way that just felt like it's hard to strike that balance of something being so personal, but also being so welcoming for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like how it kind of felt.
Natalie even swore.
I
Yeah.
did. Because
She
anytime we watch the Packers and they don't catch the ball, he always, in his little Wisconsinite,
Catch the fucking ball!
ball! Ball! So I had to include
she said how she would support me even through that. It was great. And then as we walked down the aisle after we got married, well, you tell this story. This is your story.
So, 3 weeks before the wedding, my sister Amanda calls me and she's like, I just was talking to the sheriff, of Effingham County. And he was telling me how he went to a wedding of his sister's cousin's brother, and they had homing pigeons fly out at the ceremony. And she said it was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. It gave him chills. She said he was raving and raving and raving. And so I was like, oh, interesting. So maybe Natalie would want this. I don't know. So she calls me up and she tells me this. And it's hard because you're like, is this going to be corny, or is this going to be this exciting thing that happens?
What do you think about this? Is it corny? I'm like, no, this sounds fucking dope.
Yeah. So if you don't know what homing pigeons are, they are white pigeons. They look just like doves. But they are this woman. She releases them at whatever part you want her to do it. So we did it as, when you walk halfway down the aisle and kiss again, then they were released. She literally releases them. She gets in her car,
and
she drives home, and they're at her house when she gets there. They know their way around.
Yeah. So all they're doing, they're not at a wedding. They're just flying home.
Yeah.
They're here we are. Okay, figure it out.
Okay. There's these people here. All right, I'll go home. But yeah, it's just a nice little touch.
The ceremony's wrapping up and stuff, and you guys are heading out, and they come out, and I was just like, oh, doves, but I heard people were murmuring, and they're like, oh, they know how to go home. And I heard that, and I started crying. Because I was like, they know how to get home. And I started crying. I burst.
Oh, my God. I had so many of, my cousins and friends, when Natalie walked out with River, just started sobbing.
Yeah.
It was such a, Natalie, we had River in this little white veil gownish, and it was
a really beautiful moment.
It was so good.
Not going to lie. When they opened up those doors, and it was just like, yeah.
People were like, because I got out of the car, and I heard them say, we could hear River crying. I guess people in the back row, maybe closest. And they were like, we just it was very emotional, I think, for a lot of people. But so then the homing pigeons flew out, and we, walk. There was nowhere for us to go. Again, we're just an open field. So I was like, okay, y'all can go.
That was hysterical.
Because everyone was just still sitting or standing staring at us, and we're just gonna go to take pictures. So I'm like, everyone can leave now. Thank you so much.
You said go eat food. Go eat food.
Yeah, so we sent him to the
Cocktail hour.
Mhm.
which was by the barn, and music played, and we took a bunch more pictures. Then we went and hung out with our guests for a minute. I think I mentioned this, but I had decided to also do an outfit change. And I had never worn a Tom Ford anything before, and that was always a bit of a dream of mine. So I invested in like a white cocktail, like a dinner jacket, and like a Tom Ford, which is a bit of an investment. I will be wearing that as much as possible.
He's coming to work next week.
It's unlike that fucking Dolce & Gabbana suit that I bought for Ben's wedding that I can never wear again because it's like such a loud pinstripe suit that it's like, oh, it's that again. Like I'm just wearing a white dinner jacket. Like, there's plenty of events I'll be able
But
to
are
go
you
to.
allowed to wear that to someone else's wedding? Is it like a woman wearing white?
I don't know if I'd wear it. No, I wouldn't wear it to a wedding, but I'd wear it to like a red carpet. There's a lot of bullshit we could
But did you feel your most dapper?
Oh my God, yeah.
No, wait, what was the word he used?
Dapper.
Dashing?
Dashing.
Yes.
Oh,
I
dashing. Dang it.
I absolutely felt dashing and dapper. But the plan was Natalie had all these, out scheduled she had an outfit change.
Yeah.
But she wanted obviously to wear her wedding dress for our first dance. But I'm like, well, she's like, well, then you'll do your outfit change. Then when I do mine, I'm like, baby, I need a moment in my Tom Ford. And her second look, it was more about the it's time to have fun, it's time to party, it's time to dance vibe. And I'm like, I requested can I do my outfit change before we walk in as a couple to the reception, when they're like, now announcing. So I was a bit of a diva, but we went back to the trailer and I put I changed into my white coat, and then Natalie and I were in the trailer by ourselves, and we had a little snack and a nice little moment, and we practiced and Natalie's like, we haven't practiced our first dance. I'm like, what's the practice? We're going to move side to side. And Hope, the wedding dress stylist, was like, you need a dipper and you need a twirler.
Yep.
And I'm like, I can do both. Done. So we're in the trailer. I changed, and we're we played our first song, and we technically had our first dance in the trailer together by ourselves.
Cute.
And then my mom and my sister walked in on us.
Your mom's like, I need to change my shoe.
I'm like, okay. And so then we came in and got greeted, and we did our first dance.
Which was To One and Only by Adele.
One and Only by Adele. And then
And Nick dipped me.
I dipped her.
And he did it perfectly, and I come up and I just go, we crushed that.
Because I knew when the song was the drop or whatever, the drop of the song, and it was coming up, and what is that part where
It's like, I dare you to let me be your one.
Yeah.
And it was coming up, and I knew the drop was about to come, so I just whisper, "I'm gonna dip you now." I get up in her. You can see when we're dancing, I whisper in her ear, and it's me being like, "I'm gonna dip you," and I just whoosh, and I did.
Yeah.
And then we basically had a second dance because Natalie's sister Amanda, in addition to knowing the pigeon lady, she has this very, very talented and wonderful friend named Kim.
Her name is Kim Pelote, and she is a singer in Savannah. I met her. She used to sing at my grandparents' Betty Sue, at their old folks' home. And I met her there, and she would just come and she would sing for them and just brighten their day. I don't know, but I met her, and she's absolutely an incredible singer. And so it was do we have her come and sing at our wedding? Well, her mother, was struggling with some health issues. So she never really gave us this confirmation. Yes, I'll be there. We'll do this song at this time. We never had any of that scheduled. Day of, as I'm driving from the Airbnb to my sister's house, my sister calls me and she's like, I just got a call from Kim, and she said she's able to come and sing. So what songs do you want her to sing? And I was like, I have no idea. This is day of. I don't know. And she's like, well, she knows weddings, so she's just going to come and she's going to do her thing. And I'm like, all right, well, I trust her. So whatever she wants to do. But before we finished our dance, you danced with your mom.
Danced with my mom, sobbed.
Yeah.
sobbed. I did not expect it, but like it was such a moment. I know my mom has rooted for my love life for like such a long time, and I've always just had a bond with my mom. And I wouldn't say like as a young man I've dreamt about my first like the father-daughter dance, but like
Mother.
my mother-son dance or whatever. But I have a very vivid memory of my mom in the second grade at the school sock hop. Remember those?
Sock hop.
My mom and I in the second grade won a dancing contest together, and we won a frozen pizza. I still remember this. I can picture it right now of us dancing together. And I remember like I remember following my mom's lead, and I remember dancing and being like, we're gonna win this shit. I knew we crushed it, and it reminded me of that moment, and I was very emotional, and it felt like a very full circle moment. So I definitely cried, dancing with my mom. So that was nice.
I danced with my mom. And I felt like we did it to Mama Song by Carrie Underwood, which is like the most perfect song if anyone wants to dance with their mother to a song. It's just like about getting married and like the man that is so good. And I remember it was in the song she starts saying like, and he is good, so good. And I went to like point at Nick. And I was pointing at like my friend from high school, Allison's husband, Eric, because Nick had like gone somewhere else.
Someone had called for my attention, and I was figured, oh, this is a moment I can mingle. So I kind of fucked up. I was apparently supposed to stand at the end of the dance floor and watch Natalie and her mom. So I fucked that up.
Anyways, but me and my mom danced again, sobbed. It was very, very emotional, very special for us. And then your dad gave like a welcome speech, which this man. He like starts the speech and he starts like his voice starts cracking and your mom comes up and just like hugs him from behind. And it was the sweetest moment because you just saw like how much of a team they are. And he gave a bombshell speech. And I mean, like, do you remember?
So Nick, your mom came and sat by us because Victor had put my sister and I on like one of those couches right by the dance floor. And then Chris went up to give a speech. Nick's mom sits down next to us. She's already getting like a little misty. So Marissa and I are like holding her hands. And then your dad's voice wobbled. And like immediately she was like, he needs me. And just like went straight to the dance floor. And I was like, oh my God.
I love that. Your mom gave a very beautiful speech. Maddie and I both were looking at her mom giving the speech and we're like, gosh, she looks so hot. She was radiating. Stunning. And your mom is an excellent speaker. Like my dad, his charm, both of our fathers, their charm was like them not necessarily being like, it was just from the heart and emotional. Okay. And her mom also from the heart, but her mom was like, you do this for like a living,
Yeah, she was like confident
and radiant and just, and then
I went and did outfit change. My mom announced dinner was served. And so then I was like, okay, this is my chance. We got to go change my outfit. So yes. Me, Macy, Madeline, Hope, Nick, we all went back to the house and they're getting me out of that dress. They're getting me into the new dress. We're like, we got to call hair and makeup to come because we had different looks for each thing. And so I was doing a hair and makeup change. And so
this is where the hairstylist from hell.
Uh-oh.
Is this the one vendor?
Yes.
Yeah. We've been waiting.
This is which I want to be clear when we tell this story. Once again, we had the most magical weekend and the most wonderful wedding for us. I felt like it was the best wedding of all time. I'm biased for sure. And now that the wedding weekend is over, this is just an outrageous story to tell. And it's just part of our story. When it was happening, I want to say when we tell the story, did not take away from what is our wonderful weekend. Well, as this was going down, it was fucking insane.
Yeah. So we get back to the house. We're changing into my new dress, and Hope is calling my hairstylist. So we have been up there for quite a minute. I had nursed River, and we're calling to come and do my hair and makeup because we were ready for the change. Wasn't answering his phone. And so Sarah Partain calls Angela, my wedding planner, and she's like, okay. So Oh, she finds him. She goes up. She tells him that, he's needed because I'm doing my dress change. And she texts back Sarah and says, he said, no, I'm eating.
Okay.
So then Sarah reads that text out loud to me as I'm like waiting on him. And I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. Like, no, he needs to come and change my hair. Like, what the fuck? And so 15 minutes go by and he shows up and he walks into the room with me, Madeline, Macy, Hope, Sarah. It's a room full of women.
I mean,
And Nick. He walks into the room, his pants unzipped, unbuttoned, open, his shirt untucked, very disheveled. And I go, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, I was pissing. Obviously, very hammered.
you smashed.
No.
Oh, no.
Very, very hammered.
He comes in with his pants down, looking disheveled and fucked up. And then in some sort of like crass way, demanded that Natalie find him drugs.
Yeah. And so then I'm like, are you drunk? And he's like, oh, I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. And I was like, okay, well, we've got to do my hair. Like, we've been gone for forever. I would like to get back to my reception. So he's like, what are we doing? And I'm like, a slick back at the top, half up, like half down look. And I showed him the reference photo that he had, weeks in advance. And he starts doing my hair. Lindsay's doing my makeup and everything's fine. And he's like, I was late because my phone died. My phone died. That's why I was late. And he kept saying that. And I was like, my wedding planner said that you said, no, I'm eating. And he was very like offended by that and was like, what the fuck? I'm going to fucking kill your wedding planner. Like, what the fuck? Fuck that bitch. Literally go fuck that bitch. Like, what the fuck? She didn't fucking say. I didn't fucking say that. Are you fucking serious? And he like kept saying that and kept saying that. So I knew, whatever. I definitely don't think my wedding planner made that up.
So I think it's important to note at this point, the reason why his attitude was the way it was is that, we talked about the vendors. Natalie was friends with this guy, friendly. He has done his hair in the past. So there was a relationship. And so when Natalie's like, who should do my hair? And there was like, a little bit of back and forth with deciding.
I called him up and I said, first of all, I would love for you to come to my wedding as a friend, as a guest. I would also love for you to do my hair. I understand if you don't want to mix the two. If you just want to come as a guest, totally fine. I can find someone else, but would love for you to do my hair. And he was like, oh my gosh, no, babe. Like, of course, would love to do your hair. Also, like, you won't have to pay me. I'll just get a brand deal. And I was like, oh, God, amazing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, great.
Not really knowing what that is, doesn't ask a lot of questions. We don't get a lot of details.
That was probably like 5 months before the wedding itself.
So now it's Wednesday, the day we fly to Savannah for our wedding. First time we're flying with our daughter. That's, it's her wedding. We're in full on wedding mode at this point. And on the way there, Natalie's getting a bunch of calls from her manager talking about how this brand deal that turns out had all these things that Natalie was obligated to do.
Oh.
It was like...
It was unclear. It was not clear of like what, it was a lot of, there were interviews involved. It was a lot of stuff that I was like, wait, what are we, this is...
I'm not working on my wedding.
Yeah. And also like maybe if you would have told me this 5 months ago when we could have like worked something out. But like this is 2 days before my wedding. Like so they terminated that brand deal that he had. And then my manager calls me and she says, I've been going back and forth with his agency and his rate is $3,500. But because y'all are friends, he will do it for $2,500.
Keep in mind,
Pretty generous.
in addition to
What does he normally charge?
$500.
$500.
Okay.
Yeah, $500.
We are bold.
He's done my hair for a red carpet and it was $500. Yeah.
Natalie sends a very friendly text to him. It's always like, oh, babe, we're going to figure this out. We're friends. He would just say how we're friends. We're friends. We're friends. They get on the phone. River is upset. Our perfect child is for the first time ever just having a tough moment.
Mm-hmm.
Calls Natalie. It's a very amicable conversation at this point. A lot of like, we'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Just like, but I hear him talking. He's on speakerphone. I'm just starting to lose my mind because he's lying. I could just, it's just lie after lie after lie. I just know he's just like, your team said this. And it's just a bunch of shit I just know they didn't say.
Because I'm trying to be like, listen, it's 2 days before our wedding. Like, we're the friends here. I know our teams are going back and forth, but like 2 days before my wedding, what are we doing? Like, He's like, well, my brand, and I'm like, okay, I get the brand deal's done. I get it. So like what, he's like, well, I typically do weddings for $3,500. And I was like, I understand that. If you would have told me that in the beginning, I would have never booked you because I can't afford $3,500 for hair. I would have found someone else. And he was like, oh my God, well, no, we would have negotiated it. We would have like found a price that works, you know? And I was like, it's 2 days before my wedding. I don't have $2,500. We're already over budget.
Yeah.
I don't have this to give you right now, you know? So he was like, well, what do you have? Because your team told me that you have $1,500.
Immediately I know he's lying. I'm like, my team would never negotiate my money.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so he's lying through his teeth. I'm losing my fucking mind. Meanwhile, like River's crying. Now he's getting emotional. She starts crying. Fucking says to Natalie, and I quote, babe, I don't want you to feel bad for me because like of the drama that was going on about them going back and forth. Again, meanwhile, Natalie has invited this motherfucker as a guest. And so you know what he did? He brought a +1.
And not a +1 of like a partner. It was like a friend of his who I've never met, who he's just like, it's like his girlfriend.
Like,
Just
unbeknownst to you?
I mean,
Well,
they told us last minute,
yeah,
but we were
yeah.
like, sure, whatever.
Well, I said, you know, like, listen, I'd love for you to come as a guest. To my knowledge, he was like, I thought in a relationship for a while. I didn't know like what had happened between that. So I'm like, yeah, like, of course, bring like your +1, come. He brings a friend of his, which maybe that's just like a me thing. I don't know if I would go to a wedding and bring, even if I was offered a +1, if I didn't have a partner, I don't think I would just like bring.
I mean, whatever
friend.
the fact
I
that
don't
he
know.
did, I don't even care. But my point is like, you clearly are embracing the fact that you are coming also as a guest.
Right.
You know, you're not coming just to work. You're not like, no, babe, I have a job to do. Like, and I was getting pissed off because it's like, well, which one is it? You know,
Yeah.
like she's already paying for your flight. She's already paying for your hotel.
Oh.
Yeah. On top of like,
On top of the $3,500
That
we
he
were
was-
originally
yeah.
asking for?
But I didn't pay for his flight. though.
well, no,
I was supposed to, but
she had
it was,
agreed,
It was on the invoice.
but she had agreed to pay for his hotel, agreed to pay for his flight. This was already settled.
Yeah.
This is wild.
So she's already
That's what
like,
this
she's already like agreed to like cover a few $1,000s worth of expenses to him for him to come as a guest with a +1.
I said, would you be okay with $1,000? His rate is $500. I'm asking him to do my hair Friday night. I'm asking him to do my hair Saturday night.
Right.
$1,000.
Okay.
Plus your flight that I will reimburse you and the hotel room that I have already paid for, which was like $1,300.
Oh.
Yep. So for him and his friend. So he says, let me think about it. It's Wednesday night.
So I call him up. I'm like, you're not talking to him anymore. I'm like, you go relax. I'll deal with this. I get on the phone, very amicable at first. I'm like, hey man, like this just sounds kind of messed up the way you guys are talking. Like, to be honest, it feels like you're trying to hustle Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's just a lot of back and forth. I don't really care what your rate is. I know what you charge, but like Natalie's paying for you to come out. And it was a very amicable conversation, but like, we'll pay you $1,000. He's like, well, let me think about it. I'm like, okay. He tries, and then he gets off the phone. Clearly, he's like rattled. And he texts me and tells me he's going to have his agent reach out to me. And I'm like, I'm not talking to your agent.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him a message being like, if you want your team to talk to me, then they should talk to my team. But that's silly because this conversation started with you and Natalie. So let's just figure it out and be fine. So finally he called me back and I'm just like, this is what we're going to pay you, which I think is more than generous. You keep talking about being her friend. And again, as her friend, you're the only friend she's paying for their accommodations.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so like you're being taken care of. He's like, fine, I'll just do it. And so I only bring up that story because again, despite all the vendors, and there was always a little back and forth, you know, like everyone has a business to run. We totally get it. Get your money, you know. But again, the day of, like whatever conversations we had with any vendor, they were all incredibly professional,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful energy. They crushed it. They
It was
did a great
upfront,
job.
their expectations, the money, all of it was
And
upfront.
you can have a problem with whatever their expectations are, but they are good communicators and clear communicators. This was the opposite of all of that. And you can just tell leading up to this, the welcome party, his vibe is just, he's giving attitude. And so the whole time Natalie had to like try to like ignore. So even prior to him walking in with his pants down, asking for drugs. And so when this is all going on, now he's like, I'm in the room. And now he's just like, just don't, like, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm sitting on the toilet. She's doing my makeup. He's doing my hair. And he's getting upset about what the wedding planner said. And then he's like, okay, your hair is done. You're done. And I look in the mirror and it did not look good. It is not like the photo. It just flat out wasn't good.
It looks like a drunk person
Did her hair.
did her hair.
And
So
I
he
look-
didn't try, yeah.
And I look at him and I stand up and I look in the mirror and I look at him and I said, you're not seriously going to let me go out there looking like this, are you? And he leaned up against the wall and like rolled his eyes and I took it out. And he said, you know what? I don't need this bullshit. And I said, what bullshit? He said, the shit that you and Nick are doing to me, discounting my rate, fuck you and fuck him. And he walks out and I went, Nick, because Nick was sitting on the bed and I said, he's leaving. And I said, then I was like, get the fuck off my property, like never come back here. And he goes out of the room and I lost it. I immediately like started sobbing. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, this is my wedding day. You just walked out on me. Like, who's going to do my hair?
So
like,
I go and follow him because at this point, I'm like, she needs her hair done. So
Yeah.
minus all this bullshit, I need this guy back in here. And so I'm just like, dude, are you really leaving? Like you're unprofessional, yada yada. I kept it fairly calm. He come back. He's like wobbling. He's all fucked up. I'm like, dude, you are so fucked up. He goes, I'm a guest.
No
To
way.
the bride and the groom.
Wait.
so, but it's
To
just
me,
like,
the
which
husband-
one,
yeah.
which one is it? Like, are you a guest of our wedding, like a friend, or are you working this event?
Anyways, we go back and forth. He's a hot mess. And I was just like, you hate me all you want, call me a piece of shit, but like, this is her day and you need to go apologize and do her hair. He wouldn't do it. He walked off into the middle of the woods.
Stop it.
And then we had security, a couple people helping, and they went and followed him, found out that he was like passed out, like leaning up against a tree,
He was like waiting for his Uber leaned up against a tree.
but kind of fucked up, leaning up against the tree. Just like, just an absolute hot mess.
Wow.
But Natalie's makeup artist,
Lindsay Zavitz, she was like, look at me. It is okay. You just married the love of your life. It is fine. We are going to do this. And her and Hope tackled my hair.
they did a great
and
job.
They did a great job. And
We went back and we had an absolute,
amazing
time.
reception. We get back. And as soon as we get back, that is when Miss Kim Pelote, she starts singing. And she starts singing At Last.
yeah, by Etta James.
Yeah,
And I thought Etta James was singing to us.
truly.
I mean, it was iconic. And so we had another dance.
Another
It was
dance.
such a nice
Yeah.
touch. It was so, I mean, just to have that quality of a singer. We'll have the videos. We'll post it obviously later.
We then
Um,
had the confetti poppers popped all over as everyone is kind of like slow dancing to
Mhm.
At Last in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah. And we're just having a party. And then there's a small break where then all of a sudden people are partying and Kim comes back up, kind of quiets us down, gets our attention. Turns out my mom wanted to say something because like she hadn't said anything at the welcome speech. My dad gave the speech. I asked him to give a speech. I know my mom wanted to say something. She was very nervous. So she was talking to Kim and my mom, being the Catholic woman that she is a big fan of like the song Ave Maria. And so Kim kind of introduces my mom to give a speech and like does this beautiful serenade of Ave Maria, where all my uncles were like crying because it was like a meaningful song to them.
Mhm.
And it was just, I mean, truly the voice of an angel. But like from our standpoint, I'm like, I'm in the background, I'm like, what a nice fucking touch, man. This is so fucking good. You know, like just the cherry on top of like the party you're throwing. Like we have a fucking like an artist fucking singing, and like it was so good. And it was like, again, the type of voice where you're just like so impressed, because there's a lot of good singers that even, it's like, we didn't really, you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, what did
That's
y'all
like
think
fun.
when she started singing?
I think what you're saying about singers is just like there's singers that can sing well, and then there's singers that just have presence and warmth. And I think it just felt very, I don't know. It's like everyone just
We
took it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was it's like the world paused for a second.
Everyone felt grateful to have heard her sing.
Yes.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really nice touch.
And then
Uh,
your mom gave a speech.
Then my mom gave a very beautiful speech. It was very touching. And then the rest of the night we
had Jared speak,
yeah, and then
and Victoria and Chambliss both gave speeches.
they were all excellent.
Oh.
They crushed. And then everyone just partied. We partied till like 1:30 in the morning,
So hard.
which was so great. Like
I was limping.
you
in the
could tell
airport
people
the-
didn't want to leave. And we like honestly, we were so tired at the end.
It was supposed to be over at 11:30.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Oh, no.
But when you throw a party at your family farm, You can party as long as you want.
I went and
That's true.
I went out to the trolley and I got the trolley drivers because they had just been like sitting like waiting for everyone to come out at 11:30, and so I went and got them and I was like, please come out and like join the party, dance with us, get some drinks.
And
Like,
from my point of view, obviously we had this like send off and all these, things. And it's just like, obviously Natalie and I talked, we wanted to like have our alone time, and have like a romantic night after a wedding. But like,
just let it go.
I saw, Natalie's been like working so hard, being a mom and being pregnant, and Natalie got pregnant like right after we got engaged, and it's a sacrifice to be pregnant and to have a baby. You literally sacrifice your body, your time. You don't get, your free time is limited based off of like your biggest priority being pregnant, and so Natalie didn't get the traditional bride experience that I think a lot of people do. I think we had a great engagement, but she didn't have that experience, and then I just saw Natalie just having so much fun, just to let loose. And so like, I just wanted to keep the party going because I just felt like she really deserved it. It was so much. So pathetic crying.
No.
But it was just, it was just the best to see her like have so much fun and dance. And I just felt like she really needed it. And, we were so lucky to have Shug and Allie watched River, and our moms were there, and our daughter was well taken care of to allow Nellie and I just like to let loose and have a good time because we had been working so hard, just at work and taking care of River, that it was just really nice to see.
You guys felt like, and not that you weren't before, but you guys felt like you were at like such a level of peace
Yeah.
and calmness.
Watching you guys do the champagne tower and whatnot, and trying to get the champagne
It
open.
was a bit of a
and,
struggle.
it was like just like the cutest, like fun, like just as I said, it was like so carefree, and just like watching you two just like loving and living in that moment. Like it was just, I don't know, it was just really nice to watch you guys in the center of the dance floor, and just like everybody was just so happy for you guys, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just really sweet.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun. I obviously I said something about this like on my Instagram, and I think it was really hard. I tried all these wedding dresses on. I had all these fittings, and they tailored everything perfectly, and it was, everything I could have wanted and more. But of course I am breastfeeding, and so as the night prolonged, my boobs just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and we were definitely in a space of, it was a safe space. It was a space where no one was like, oh my God, like we got to do something about that. Everyone was like, you look amazing. Like and I felt absolutely beautiful and so sexy and just like my best self. And then I posted these photos, and so many people had so many opinions of my boobs and how they looked in my reception dress. And it really sucked. It really was like this feeling of like, y'all are making something weird that like no one had made weird up until this moment.
Mhm.
And like, I'm feeding my child. I'm like, so I can't help it. There's nothing I can do. Like, it's just nature. They're just going to get bigger. And Macy designed an amazing dress, but she didn't design one that could like move with my body and expand as my boobs expanded. So, but I do feel like I was my best version, and we had the most fun we could have ever had. And
You looked absolutely stunning
Mhm.
in every look, Natalie. And not 1 second was I like, like you're a mother, you are young, you are beautiful, sexy, and it's supposed to be your day. And I think that you nailed every look from the welcome party to the very end of the reception. Truly.
Yeah. Well, then we called it a night. It was great. We took a nap
Well deserved. I'm sure.
at 3 a.m. in the morning.
yeah, we got back. We got a hotel room. My mom stayed with River, and we got a hotel room, and we were like, let's take a little nap. We're just very, very tired.
And then we made some sweet, sweet love after a nap.
We're like, we don't have the energy currently in this moment to give it our best.
Yeah.
You know what I am saying? So
I had,
let's take a quick nap.
Power nap.
we go to bed at 9. So it's 3 a.m. But it was amazing. The whole next day was about getting ready for our honeymoon. We woke up at like, 10 or something, and we just had a bunch of errands and a bunch of things to do. to prep for our honeymoon, which was in Turks and Caicos. That was the plan. And so our flight left at 5:45 a.m.
Okay.
the next day.
So we had not slept Friday night, Saturday. Sunday
So
night.
we had so much to do in preparation, planning the wedding, that we didn't get to bed until 12:30, and we had to wake up at 3 a.m. So we're on no sleep, kind of back-to-back nights. Again, we brought Natalie's mom with us to babysit for our honeymoon. The goal being, like, again, logistically, as much as we spend all our time with our daughter and we love every minute of it, but it's our honeymoon and we were hoping to like connect and have some quality time. And so we're so lucky to have Natalie's mom. She's so easy to be around. We brought her with us, got her own room, obviously, so that Natalie and I can, as much as possible, have some time alone and things like that. So it was really nice to have her. So the night started at 3 a.m. It's a bit chaos. The first kind of bummer was I'm putting River into the car seat, and I brought the cowboy hat that I got. Now I got this cowboy hat a couple weeks at Coachella at the Patron El Alto party that we went to, and Kimosabi gave us hats, and I was like, this is perfect for a welcome party. And it looked good or whatever, and I put the hat on top of the car.
No.
And I had like River Rose engraved in the hat, and got to the airport, and I'm like, where's the fucking hat?
No.
And I realized I left it on top of the car.
Along with his wallet that he left behind in my sister's car.
Oh no.
So, but that was fine because I had my passport,
Okay.
and credit cards are replaceable, and Natalie has another copy of my credit card, which
Ayo.
came in handy. And so I'm like, you know what? It's just an item. Even though it was the item from our wedding, it's replaceable. We have a very nice flight. River's great. We get to Turks and Caicos. Honeymoon is about to start. It's so good. We go as a family to the customs, check in, whatever. The agent, we hand him all our passports. Now, prior to this, we had to get River's passport. And then like a week and a half ago, Natalie's mom has been a big part of, obviously, our family since River's been born. And so she helped us, she knew that we were rushing to get River's passport. Like, we wanted to go to Turks and Caicos, but it was like, we don't know if we can get her passport in time, but we did, but there was a bit of a process. Natalie's mom calls us up like a week and a half earlier being like,
I had booked, it was right after I had booked everything, the hotel, her flight.
The non-refundable.
The non-refundable hotel. She gets a notification from Delta. So she texts me and she's like, I just got the text from Delta. You've been busy. You booked honeymoon. I'm so excited. And then she responds with, oh my God, my passport's expired.
Oh no.
So
she has to drive to New Orleans for same day passport. She gets it done. But I only bring this up because clearly we've been doing a lot of work in making sure all of our passports
are up to date.
Everything's
good.
We walk into customs. We are with the agent. We hand them all the passports.
My mom goes first. She's stamped. She goes up where she's like, okay, I'm going to go and get luggage. We had, requested a car from the hotel to pick us up. She starts getting the luggage into the car.
And then the agent stamps the passport. We don't know whose passport at this point.
Okay.
Stamps the passport, is about to hand it back, and then looks at it and goes, there's a page torn here. And we're like,
what?
Huh?
Like, how did this happen?
And we're like,
we have no idea.
I don't know. She goes, hold on 1 second. Walks by herself to the office. We're kind of looking at each other. We don't know what's going on. She comes back. She says, come with me. I'm thinking this is definitely mine. This is a me issue. I had lost my driver's license. And so I don't currently have my driver's license with me. And so I've been waiting for him to get in the mail. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been using my passport to, for any time I needed, I've been carrying it around with me. Now it's been sitting in the same spot as it always has been. So I'm thinking, of course, again, I do a lot of things right, but when my brain works a certain way that it takes so much energy to do all the things I'm good at right, that like when it comes to other things that I just,
falls through the cracks.
Yeah. This is something that I'm thinking, what's going on? And it turns out it's Natalie's passport. And they're just like, you got a page torn here.
We went to Toronto, didn't have an issue. Like, I've used this passport. I have never had an issue. I have no idea what's wrong. And this was really, I feel like, a moment where Nick and I got to not only, we had River in our arms we had to hold it together for our daughter, but also it really like challenged us as husband and wife. And it was like the first thing we had to conquer as husband and wife.
At this point, you know, because I'm still optimistic because they're like, we're not supposed to let you in. I'm hearing supposed to, not can't.
Right.
Or
You know.
technically.
And I'm like, Natalie, at this point, Natalie's
Sobbing.
And
Sobbing.
I'm like, it's going to be okay. They're going to figure it out. We're going to get a lecture of some kind. Like, clearly, we're going to be fine. They come out and they're like, sorry, we're sending you back. And I'm like,
you
this
cannot
can't.
enter this country.
I'm like, we're on our honeymoon. There's got to be something we can do.
Yeah.
And the good people of Turks and Caicos, I will, you know, and we found out coming into Turks and Caicos, there's this national story about this guy, right? Who they found like a hunting bullet in his luggage.
Yes, yeah, we were
talking about that at the wedding.
Yeah, and he's facing up to 12 years in prison.
Yeah.
And then,
we had heard that story going to Turks and Caicos. I don't hunt, so I wasn't worried.
But then my sister says that there is some kind of U.S. travel advisory for Turks and Caicos, and they're putting a lot of Americans in jail. So it was.
So I don't know, but what I've noticed about the good people of Turks and Caicos, very nice, very pleasant.
Yeah,
they like the rules.
They were very nice while telling you no.
Yeah, they were very nice, but
she
also
was like,
like,
baby, stop crying, crying. It's gonna be okay. You just have to get on the next flight out and go back and get a new passport and then come back. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know if you understand. This process is not. It's not like a quick little. And she's like, well, who all is gonna go back?
She's like, yeah. She looks at me. She goes, "Are you gonna still go to your hotel?" I'm like, "I'm not leaving my wife." And like Natalie just said, at this moment, Natalie's crying. I appear calm, but I'm radiating with anxiety. But I'm telling myself, "You're 2 days on the fucking job. Time to be a husband." You know, like it's your time to step up. You stay calm. Like everything's gonna be fine. And in that moment, like we're fine, we're grateful, we're here with you guys, we get to tell the story. But in this moment, it felt like a nightmare. I'm like, this is not happening. We booked these non-refundable. When it came to our honeymoon, we went for it. You know, like we had been working hard. You know, we didn't do any type of trade. We decided to make an investment in our honeymoon and spend on what we thought was. Should we be spending this kind of money?
Yeah.
But we're like, you know what? We want to, you know, we've been working hard. We really want to connect on our honeymoon. So we went for it. And we were staying at the Waimea in Turks and Caicos. Thankfully, despite their non-refundable policy, the good people at the Waimea Hotel graciously refunded our money.
Oh, that's great.
Shout out to them. We thank them. But yeah, it was so chaotic. But like I got so many opportunities to call Natalie my wife. And that was great. Because I was like, I'm not leaving my wife. You know, I got my wife here. You know, like I just got so many opportunities to refer to her as my wife. And like, I'm losing my mind. This chaos. We're about to get sent back. We're about to not have a honeymoon.
And it was so hard because it was like we had just had this high. You know, we had the best 2 days ever. And then it was like we were so excited. And then we got there and it was like we had put all this work into River's passport and my mom's passport. And it was like, I didn't check mine. I didn't check, you know, we just like assumed everything was okay.
We had been to Toronto a few months ago. No issues.
Yeah. And it was just like, and it was just.
It was one
worst,
motion from another.
Yeah. And so they said, we're booking you on the next flight out. That leaves at 2:00 and it's noon.
And it's just chaos. And if you haven't been to the Turks and Caicos airport, it's not very big.
It has no AC. Yeah. It has like 10 seats. It's packed. There's not a lot of like food options, you know, it's
packed. It's a sardine can.
So they're like, we're going to go put you on the next flight. So we go to the Delta counter. The people of Delta were truly amazing.
Oh, great.
They were really, really great people. But
then the flight's delayed.
Well, there was an issue with getting River onto our ticket. Don't know what it was, but
it had to do with the fact that we had just gone off a flight.
Yeah, so they were like, it was like we had just landed, and then obviously 2 hours later we're getting on the next flight, and so we stood in that airport for 6 hours, and River is losing her shit.
Yeah.
You know, she's just been on an airplane for all these hours. We're now in this like hot, it's loud. She's very overstimulated. I'm trying to nurse her. She won't latch. So after 6 hours, our flight is canceled.
because there was a maintenance issue. And then after it had a tire issue. And then
Okay.
once they got it fixed, of course, the pilot timed out. So the flight's canceled. The people on the flight, everyone loses their mind. So in this moment, we're just more chaos is assumed, like just going on, which was kind of interesting. And back to like River, kind of being overstimulated. It was like this weird moment because first it's a little scary, it's a little scary to be in this like foreign country. But at the same time, it just puts everything into perspective because you're just like, at the end of the day, fuck it. We have to take care of our daughter. We have to take care of each other. And as much as it like sucked, it was our first moment of like being a family and facing adversity together.
Oh.
And so, but then they canceled the flight. And at first I'm like, oh my God, this can't get any worse. And it was so funny. So couple of things. We got approached by a handful of people who recognized us and we're looking miserable. They're like, we saw the wedding photos. We love you guys. And we're trying to be like, thank you. We're so nice. One of the ladies who was on the returning flight recognized me. And she pointed out the Air Canada story that we told on the show. She's like, you guys fucking hate Air Canada, which was kind of a fun little callback to like the situation we were dealing with. We will never complain about an airline making sure that our plane is safe to fly on.
Yeah.
So even though it sucked that the flight was delayed and that it was canceled, especially what's going on with planes these days, we will never complain about an airline making sure it's safe for our family to fly on or it's safe for the pilot to fly our plane. It sucked. Don't get me wrong.
So I'm sitting, me and my mom, Nick is pacing with River. I'm sitting there with my mom and I hear over the intercom that the flight has been canceled and it will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I lose it because I'm like, they won't let me into this country. We're going to have to fucking sleep in this airport.
And we're on no sleep. We don't have a lot of supplies. We got our daughter. It's kind of scary in this moment.
Right.
But this wonderful woman named Lisa Simons, I hope I'm pronouncing. She would seem to be in charge of the Delta crew at the airport. This woman is an angel. She was aware of her situation. She came up to me and she's like, they're going to make an exception. They're going to let you in for a night. Delta put us up in a hotel. It was a different hotel, the Palms. I got to say, really enjoyed our one night at the Palms. It has a nice little like antique vibe. It's not like a big luxury resort, but we were there for a night. We saw the ocean from the plane in and we saw the ocean from the plane out. So we didn't see the ocean because by the time we got to the hotel, it was dark out. But Lisa, thank you. You were a saint. They got us out early, because they wanted to deal with us first. So they put us in a van, got us a hotel, got us 2 rooms. We found out the next morning. So we had dinner. We had one night and
I put on one of my honeymoon outfits. We all go to dinner.
And I'm just like, babe, all this is a bad day.
Yeah.
It's just, that's it. Like nothing's really changed. We're going to go have a nice meal. We're going to enjoy ourselves. The 4 of us had dinner, and honestly, I sat there and I was just like, it's weird going on a honeymoon with your mother-in-law, but like, honestly, Natalie's mom's been so great. And it was like, we had dinner as a family and it was like, it was a nice dinner. And I was like, babe, we should at least go walk down to the beach. But like Natalie, like we were so tired. Natalie passed out. And I'm like, let's just go to bed.
Mhm.
And we woke up the next day. We had to get to our flight, but we found out that after we left the airport, that there was a bomb threat, and they had to evacuate the airport. And so the majority
put everyone in a parking lot for 4 hours, sitting in a parking lot.
So it could have
been so much worse.
It could have been so much worse. Yeah, we were told it was a bomb threat. There was a threat of some kind. We verified it with multiple people on the airline. There's probably a few people on the airline on our flight who were a part of this whole experience, and they can verify that. But there was a threat of some kind. And so immediately we're just like, the next day we're like, you know what? It could have been so much worse. We had one night. And again, Lisa was back there, was so nice to us, and she was so great. Delta, if you're listening to this, give that woman a raise if you lost. But it wasn't just us. You could tell that she was helping so many people out. Prior to that, when we found out the flight was canceled, some gentleman from the flight started screaming at Lisa. He was very frustrated. I don't know what was going on. And then another woman on the flight called out this gentleman.
And it was chaos.
It was chaos, but it was like, and then, everyone clapped for this woman who called out the gentleman. And it was just it was interesting, just like we're going through all this craziness. And I could see on so many people's eyes, like everyone had their story, like everyone had their story of why this was the worst moment for them. I have to work the next day, or
I heard
like
some girl say it was her birthday.
you
She
know.
had plans.
Another
Oh,
woman
no.
who on our flight on back, an older woman had hurt her foot. She had just flown in on Sunday, so she was flying back trying to get medical care at her foot, and her flight got canceled. So it's like it really helped put things into perspective. And again, for all the complaints we've done for Air Canada, Delta stepped the fuck up, and they did a great job of making a terrible situation as good as possible. So we are very appreciative of them. But yeah, so we didn't get to have a honeymoon.
Oh, are we rescheduling?
I think so. That's the hope. I don't really. It's Thursday when you guys are hearing this. I don't know what we're gonna do this weekend. Maybe we're gonna try to do something nice. We're not good at knowing what's going around here. We have to go to New York for work next week. We're thinking Puerto Rico because I don't know if we'll have enough time to fix Natalie's passport. And and get back to why we did the honeymoon the way we did. We want it to be a honeymoon. We didn't want it to be
Just a
another trip.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to try to do that. We're still figuring things out. Like we literally just got back last night, and we're sitting here with y'all right now. So we'd definitely like to have a honeymoon. We don't really have anything planned, and we don't know where to go yet. I don't think we're going to go back to Turks right now.
Maybe not.
But I wanted to say, despite all that, like even the people at the resort, it's a lovely country, and the people we interacted with, everyone's there. Everyone's so nice and accommodating. And it's a bummer that we didn't get to stay there, and it's technically our fault.
But my mom did say at the airport, she, I was extremely emotional. It's like I've ruined our honeymoon. If I would have just looked at my passport before, I would have noticed something was wrong and would have tried to get a new one or called and asked questions. But I had no idea. And I just felt, we had spent so much money on this honeymoon. We were so sleep deprived. And all these things. And I was extremely emotional. And my mom came up to me and she said, I really saw Nick be a husband. And he really, him taking the blame and saying, I feel like a lot of men probably would have been mad at you or would have been like, well, fuck, what? Look what you've done, and just angry. And Nick was so calm, and he was so just, it's going to be okay. And he just kept, assuring me everything would be okay, and kept hugging me or rubbing my back. And then for him to be like, what, maybe it was me. Maybe, it wasn't it could have been anything. We don't know, but we're together. We have each other. It's going to be okay. We're going to get back home. We're going to sleep in our bed. We're going to try this again another time. But it's going to be okay. And so my mom pointing that out of just I saw him be this really stand up, good husband. She was like, it made me really, really proud and really happy. So
thanks.
Yeah. So we'll circle back and let you know if
It sounds like the universe has a better
plan
honeymoon
for us.
planned.
Yeah.
And this was its reminder that you guys have each other despite
Yeah.
external factors.
You can just got to deal.
Yeah.
You just deal with shit. This won't be the most difficult challenge of our lives or relationship. And it was a nice little, to me, being a dad or being a husband, it's the opportunity to take care of your family.
Yeah.
And this gave me the opportunity to do that. So I'm looking at it as a gift, and just a reminder for that, because otherwise, what's the point? And I felt like River was there for us. She kept us calm.
Yeah.
And she's at times she was laughing. How can you be mad? So yeah, that was our wedding story in all its glory.
Anyways, best wedding ever.
It truly was. I'm so grateful to have you and River and the wedding and all of you guys who can make it. And it was the best party. And you should party plan for a living. You're an artist. And I know Amanda would never do it because that place was meant to host weddings. We were so grateful to have it in Natalie's family to be able to do that. It was a dream come true. It's so good.
It was so good.
The night of our wedding, I was like, that was the coolest fucking wedding. All right, well, it's time to finally get to our Going Deeper guest, Ava Max, a very delightful guest, very talented artist. She was born in Milwaukee, which I was too, so that was a nice bond. But she's got some really great music. We're big fans of her. We got a chance to finally talk to her about trying that challenge in the public life of trying to be open about your personal life, all at the same time of trying to maintain some privacy. But obviously, we'll let you listen to it. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for tuning into another lengthy episode, but we know you wanted to listen to it. No, I'm just kidding. So anyways, this is another great episode. We have a great guest. I hope you enjoy Ava. It's time for Ava. So there's this really cool company in my hometown of Waukesha, Wisconsin. It's called Sporting Smiles. Well, you probably heard me talk on the show before that I'm a bit of a teeth grinder. It's not a great habit, but there's something you can do if you relate to that. Because Sporting Smiles crafts custom night guards, and I've been using them for the past month, and it feels great. They got great custom whitening trays. Again, they have custom mouth guards and retainers. So if you're looking for any of those, check out Sporting Smiles today. There's no going to the dentist. It's all done 100% online, and it's super easy. I'm not a big dentist fan, but there are some things I need to get done when it comes to my teeth, and grinding them was definitely one of them.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, Sporting Smiles, the retainers were a lifesaver. I'm from NorCal. That's where my orthodontist is, but I live in SoCal, so getting those impressions is not convenient. I threw my retainer away in the trash. I needed a new one. It was really fast. They sent me the trays in the mail, did the molds, sent in the pictures, got it approved, sent it back, had my retainer just like that.
Hooked it up. That just feels good that they're from my hometown. But you do not have to also be from Waukesha, Wisconsin to benefit from the things that Sporting Smiles is doing for people and their mouths. Sporting Smiles serves the entire United States, and they've got a sale going on right now where you can save 10% on all orders with promo code VIALL10. That's right. That's code VIALL10 for 10% off. Check out my hometown company, Sporting Smiles, for your dental product needs. Hinge is the dating app designed to be deleted. Why? Hinge gives you a sense of someone's personality and lets you share your own. You get to know potential dates through their unique answers to prompts, plus get a sense of someone's dating intentions and what they're looking for. Leia's got a couple of success stories about your brother-in-law?
My sister.
Your sister.
And my now brother-in-law met on Hinge.
True
and
love.
my best friend, too, also met her husband on Hinge.
Husband, not even people they like, not even people they got excited about, not even someone they dated for. They got married. They literally said, "Till death do us part." They
committed.
They didn't just delete the app. They're done with apps altogether. And it was all about the prompts.
It was all about the prompts. My sister's prompt was that she went bungee jumping, and then that sprung them into an incredible conversation about traveling and activities, and the rest was history.
You've heard me talk a lot about dating apps on this show, and what do I always say? That you have to police yourself when it comes to dating apps. There's a right way and a wrong way to use everything, including dating apps. And Hinge gets that. They're literally saying, hey, we want you to delete our app. And they're helping us, giving us these prompts. I know it sounds simple, but that's the thing. I mean, you don't give people prompts, and they're like, I don't even know how to ask a question. It's like, where do I start this conversation? And what's up? I mean, how many times have you matched with someone on another dating app, and then no one says anything, or when they do, it's like, hey, what do you do with hey? Well, let Hinge give you some really fun, easy, basic, but thought-provoking questions that will get the conversation started. People on Hinge are trying to actually purposefully and date with intention, find someone that they're looking to connect with, and let Hinge be the app to do that with, because they truly are the app that is designed to be deleted. On Hinge, there are no rules, timers, or games. If you're feeling inspired, give Hinge a try. Download Hinge today and find someone worth deleting the app for. Ava, welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
How's it going?
I'm good.
We usually start this episode sometimes. I haven't done it in a while, but I'll ask people, how's their heart?
How's my heart?
Yeah.
My heart is fragile.
It is fragile.
It's been through a lot,
Oh my gosh.
What has it been through?
It's been mauled over by a truck.
Oh my.
By a bear.
Oh my.
Do you want to talk about
Are
it?
you okay?
No,
or-
I mean I'm on the other side.
Yes,
Oh.
of course.
Sorry, this was years ago.
Oh,
Okay.
We're on the
course.
other side now. It's been through a lot.
What have you learned the most about your heart being mauled by a bear? Is there anything to learn from that? Stay away from bears. Yeah.
Take it one step at a time afterwards and don't overthink it.
Good advice.
Yeah. Well, when you say your heart is fragile, is that a strength to you, or how do you define fragile?
It's strength.
Okay.
It's strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to look back and try not to make the same mistakes, but we are human.
That is
Right?
true.
We are
We have to give
human.
ourselves grace.
I know. And how would we get stronger if we don't make mistakes?
What's the toughest lesson you've ever learned from?
Oh, toughest
And
lesson.
then maybe a follow-up. What's one lesson you're still learning about?
I have learned to take things one day at a time,
Okay.
kind of focus on the present, like today, not tomorrow, not yesterday. I think I've worked really hard to be like that. I'm not like that much of an anxious person anymore. I'm really good at living in the present moment.
That's awesome.
That's really important.
Right?
Have you been an anxious person? I mean, I can be a very anxious person. as
You
well.
know, I don't know. When I started off in the music industry, I was very anxious. I just wanted everything to come out on my music right away. I'm like, why am I holding on to this? And now I've learned to like hold on to the music and like really take my time and wait and take a second, take a breather. Everything was urgent in the beginning, especially right when Stupid Psycho came out, and I wanted everything to happen right away. So now I'm at this place where I'm just like chill.
You're trusting
And
the
I'm
process.
okay with it. It's not even like a struggle anymore. I'm just it's like whatever is my motto right now.
You've had a pretty like crazy, kind of come up or backstory. I mean, also, did you know you were born in Milwaukee? You were not born in Milwaukee.
I was.
You're from Milwaukee.
I
You're
was born in
You're
Milwaukee.
born. I was born in Milwaukee.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
But then
cheese
you-
heads.
Couple of
Let's
cheese
go.
heads.
Do you
I
still-
love me some cheese.
Do you still identify with the cheeseheads? Because didn't you like move when you were pretty young from Milwaukee?
2 years old with my little backpack. I like started walking to Virginia. No, my family and I, we moved to Virginia. They didn't like the snow.
Yeah, no, I hear ya.
My parents were Albanian
That's
immigrants.
valid.
Does Virginia not snow?
So
Not like Wisconsin.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my parents were Albanian immigrants from Albania, so they were used to like sunshine and the beach. So when they it was a shock when they had
When
to
they got to
shovel
Wisconsin.
snow most of the year.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was about 8, I was just talking to my mom. I'm like, why'd you move from Wisconsin? She's like, I could not shovel snow every morning. I'm like, she's like, we just love the beach. So we moved to Virginia Beach.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back to Wisconsin or not really?
I did for a show like a few years ago, and it's so crazy. I mean, because I was born there, but I don't know it that well. But
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
explore it more now.
You should. Obviously, that's where Nick's from. So his whole family's still there. So we always go for Christmas and this and that. And every time I go, I am like shell shocked that people live there and they put up with the snow.
The snow is tough. I love snow. Don't get me wrong. I love snow,
Mm.
but all year round,
It's fun
is
for
hard.
like a day.
But some people love it. I mean, like to each their own, right? Like some people really love it. Maybe one day I'll just live in a cabin in the woods where it snows all the time.
Yeah, I was pretty excited when I found out you're from Milwaukee. And then I was like, oh, she moved right away.
I might have to
So-
go back to my roots, like 20 years from now, maybe. You never know. I might be in a
Yes.
cabin.
Yeah.
But that being said, your parents being immigrants from Albania, that's a crazy backstory. They like fled.
It was really tough at the time because it was a communist country, Albania. So they could barely listen to the radio. Everything was so regulated. And so I remember just growing up here, my dad always talked about how fortunate we are to like be able to listen to even the radio. He wasn't allowed to because even if like neighbors heard you, they would tattletale on you and they would essentially hurt you and kill you and take things from you and your family and food. And it was almost like a nightmare. And that my parents are very strong people and I've learned so much from them. And I think they're the reason why I made it in my career because they always, ever since I was young, they're like, if we can make it through that
Yeah.
and then flee there and then live in France in a church for a year and then figure out how to get to America and like all that, like they're like, you'll figure out how to be a singer. I'm like,
But
oh, okay.
How crazy is it that like they couldn't listen to the radio and then full circle their daughter is on the radio?
Oh, for sure. They always tell me how proud they are. And my dad always gets teary eyed at the shows. My dad comes a lot to the shows and he came on tour with me last year.
Really?
Yeah, he's so cute.
Oh my.
He's a softie. Like he's a good guy.
What have you been up to lately? What have you been doing for fun? What's new? I know you've been working hard on the new music, but like what is Ava doing for fun while you're not crushing it at the studio?
Well, drinking a ton of coffee all the time.
Okay.
I've had so much coffee. I made a joke earlier, remember, that like not to have the coffee here because I'll just chug it during the interview.
What's your favorite
that's
LA
how I start
coffee
my day. La Colombe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do love some
The
local-
draft. I got to stop. I'm addicted. I might stop. I might
I
have
might
to stop.
stop.
But yes, I start my day with a lot of coffee. It's really funny when I have a day off. I just don't want to think about Ava Max. I don't want to do anything Ava Max related. I just want to go to maybe walk around a furniture store. I don't know. I love interior design. I know it's really weird.
No,
What do you love
I'm
about
the
it?
same.
Me too.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
couple of interior design
Yeah, we'll
fans
go
here.
together.
Yes, let's do it.
I
Do you want
love
to talk about your favorite aesthetics?
I mean, I love Marvel. I love.
Have you been
Warren.
to Mid-Century LA?
No.
Oh
need to
my
go.
god.
Wait.
It's over. It's kind of in
It's
more
in North Hollywood.
North Hollywood area, yeah.
Oh, nice.
You will be obsessed.
Okay, I probably will. I'm like an HD Buttercup girl.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, love.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't die.
It all looks new, but it's like this really,
Yeah, but it's mid-century.
from all over the world. I don't know. It's all these really cool pieces.
I gotta go.
It's
I gotta
very
go.
I'm
unique.
like, have you been to mid-century?
I'm like
LA?
gonna
And
go
it's
this
like,
week.
Is that from like this? It's all like new furniture, right? It's like this
I was
time
gonna say,
period.
how do you define mid-century though?
Yeah, I
'Cause
don't
feel
I
like
don't-
if you go on
yeah, you're like it's mid-century. I'm like, okay.
in Facebook,
I'm sorry.
Facebook Marketplace, everything is mid-century.
And don't ask me what dates those are because I do
Yeah.
not know.
when like the 1950s, is that what they mean?
Well, then there's
Mid-century?
mid-century modern.
What would you say your
Might say.
yeah?
I
or
like
interior design?
modern. I like
Modern.
modern. It's so funny. My manager came over to my place and she's like, it's so sterile.
Oh.
But I'm very utilitarian.
Mm.
You know, I'm very like, I'm a minimalist and I like things minimal, but which is funny that I just go into a furniture shop and I want to buy everything. So maybe my next place will be heavily hoarded.
Yeah, I'm like, how are you sterile? I feel like I have
don't know why.
accumulated so much shit.
Oh no,
and
I can get rid of so much. The
That's
only
a
thing right
talent.
now is the clothes. I have to figure out the clothes
Yeah.
because they accumulate every month a lot. So I got to figure out a system in place because I do have a bedroom where it's just a lot of piles of clothes. So I have to figure that out.
But you throw. We need.
I'm good at giving away things and getting rid
that's
of
a
things.
talent. I feel like not a lot of people have that where they're like they don't have this emotional connection to this
I
the
can do
dumbest
that.
thing.
Yeah, I have a little carry on with if the end of the world happens, like my favorite boots, and like
Mhm.
I know it's really weird.
What is your like for someone who's really
My
good at
favorite
getting away?
boots?
But
Like my-
what can't you live without? Like it's the
Like my combat boots. Like if the end of the world happened, like I'm gonna just take this carry on. Has
Are
Band-Aids,
these just
combat
like
boots.
Steve Madden combat boots, or did you
No,
find these in
they're-
like or is there a story behind? Are these your dad's?
Yeah, they're your
boots that
dad's
he
boots from
wore?
Albania?
No, they're the
Like-
most comfortable shoes. They're Ghani. They're just Ghani. And like they're just like super comfortable shoes that I just always have in my little carry-on just in case I need
Just
to
in
run.
case.
You know, I'm on the 37th floor right now, so I got to be prepared.
Oh.
Wait, just in case you need to run, you're gonna
Maybe
run.
I
in
get a
combat boots?
parachute. No.
What else is in this bag other than the boots? Do you have a
Um,
go-to movie?
La Colombe draft.
Colombe coffee.
Literally
obviously.
simple, just like a simple outfit, end of the world outfit. I'm prepared. I'm a prevention girl. Like I would prevent things.
Do you want to talk about the
Because
state
I know
of the
my
world?
biggest. I know. Literally, like I feel like if the end of the world happened, I would not know what outfit to wear.
but you have your boots picked out.
You know what I mean?
What
like
would
I
you wear
feel
at the
like
end of the
looking at
world?
all the boots, like, oh no.
What would be my what?
Your end of the world outfit. Like if they were like, it might be the end of the world, but we
Comfortable,
don't
right?
know.
I
But
would-
pack a bag and you get one outfit.
Listen,
What's-
I don't think I would go comfortable. I think I would go like something fucking crazy because
Stiletto?
it's my last outfit ever.
No, but
So
what
I
if
might
you had
do
to go
something-
hunt and like?
Oh God!
Like,
Wait,
like
that's
it's,
what I'm doing.
yeah, if you ever wanted to wear like
Yeah.
assless chaps, now's the time. You know, there's no.
Listen, yeah, no, listen. I will tell you what the only thing that I'll have in my bag. It's the only thing that I'll ever need in life if I'm ever stranded anywhere. It's garlic salt.
That's true.
Wait, what?
Put garlic salt on literally some sticks, and
Lowry's
it's delicious.
garlic salt.
Oh, that's really good.
Well,
yeah.
you're so real
Right?
for that. Yeah.
Right? That's all I need. I'll be stranded anywhere and like garlic
Oh, see,
salt,
I
and
don't
I'm
eat
good.
a lot of garlic. I need to eat more garlic. I don't eat garlic.
Do you
I need to
cook?
give you this.
Garlic makes me tired. It's like it puts me to sleep. If I have a little garlic at dinner, I'm like,
But you have all
you know,
that
I
coffee.
start snoring. And
Yeah, you have so much
It's
coffee. How is it not
garlic for some reason does something.
interesting?
It's like a sleeping pill.
Are you a
We never
vampire?
could cook for Ava.
I'm like, don't give me garlic. No, it's gonna be a little, but like not like a like. I was in
She's
Italy.
wearing
I
all
was
black and has sunglasses on.
I don't
Maybe
know.
she's a
No, I was-
vampire.
you know what's crazy? I do feel like a vampire. No, but I love nighttime. But I'm not really a morning
It's
person.
giving vampire.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
No, but I was in Italy last summer, and they made this bruschetta,
And it had blood in it, and it was so good.
they had blood. They had so much blood on it.
So
It's giving Twilight.
Yum. No, it was just so raw, the garlic, that within 5 minutes I was like, I'm not okay. I'm like going to sleep, and then I pass out.
Oh my god! Honestly, that's like cheaper
Quick,
than
go get some garlic at
melatonin.
Whole Foods. I want to test this out.
I was exhausted within 5 minutes.
Well,
We're like,
Natalie,
well-
don't you have in your purse?
I'm like, I'm gonna give this
Yeah.
another try, and every time.
That's
every time,
crazy.
pass out.
That is really crazy.
really
I've
sad.
never heard that
'Cause I
before.
really like the taste.
It's really.
Did you
She's
go
like,
to
I want to stay awake and eat it, but I'm just so tired.
Did you go to Coachella this year?
Went first weekend.
We went first weekend.
Yeah,
we
no,
went first weekend.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I tore my leg though. I had that much
Tore
fun.
your leg.
I tore my muscle. It's my groin.
Are you-
That's so
The
painful.
word groin is so gross to me. Groin. Like, but I tore it. And so
what were you doing?
I was running like a fairy, you know,
In the
not a
combat
vampire
boots.
this time.
Obviously.
Maybe a vampire fairy.
She didn't stretch before she went in an all-out sprint.
Oh no, I was like wearing these big platforms and I was just running in and out of just like, you know, uneven
Yes.
terrain, and it was just great. And then the next day I'm like, oh, I can't walk. Sick.
Ow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What was your favorite set?
Ooh, that's tough. I loved Lana Del Rey's entrance.
Right?
Yes.
Oh
It was
God, didn't she
iconic.
make us all feel like a badass?
No,
Like I'm like,
truly.
yes. I was like, I
Truly. It
love
made
that.
me want to get on the back of a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's so
Where were
good.
you watching it from?
Just like really close, actually. Really, really close. But I like No Doubt too. Obviously.
Oh.
The part of the guitar part is it Don't Speak. That part. Oh, my heart just like went.
Who
and I
were,
like-
who were your music inspirations growing up? Obviously, is it
Definitely Gwen.
Gwen.
Definitely Gwen.
Were
No
you
doubt.
were a big Britney Spears fan?
Yeah, I had the pink and light blue CD. Did you have that?
Obviously, yes.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. And then definitely Mariah Carey was number one. Mariah Carey was number one. I would sing all of her songs in my basement. Drive my neighbors crazy.
Could you hit
with
all
my
the
little
notes?
karaoke. You know, that's why my mom moved cross country because I did hit all the notes at like 14, and she's like,
It
"All right,
wasn't
we're
the
leaving
snow.
Virginia.
It wasn't
We're
the
going
snow.
to pursue the music dream
Oh.
with you." I'm like, "Really? Just because I can sing a Mariah Carey song? Okay, cool. Sick.
Can we get a whistle note right now?
Okay, let's see." Oh my God, I'm scared.
Oh my God.
I haven't done a whistle note in months. So
I don't even know what a whistle note
Yeah, what's
is.
a whistle note?
Better than me?
Oh wow.
I can't do
Oh
it
my
right now.
gosh.
But I'm not. You have to have a song on. But I know that's good.
That's
good.
crazy.
Nick can do a whistle note.
But I
I
can.
can't.
Just try.
I don't even. You just squeak?
It's like really strange. It's like it sounds funny. I'm not committing. I'm not committing.
Yeah, I think you're too nervous. I think you're like, no, I don't
I'm
like
like-
so you're like not giving it your all.
I can't even do that.
No, you probably can.
How does one do that?
You just gotta try. I can't whistle. Can you whistle? I can't whistle.
can't
See, I
whistle.
can't whistle.
What do you mean you can't whistle?
I can't whistle either.
A
Yeah.
lot of people can't.
I can't whistle.
I learned how to whistle by sucking in,
Oh, whoa.
and then I blew out.
I
Why
also
is that so
can't-
funny, Allie?
She's laughing.
Is it the
Because I
word
have the
suck?
personality of like a middle school boy, and hearing your boss say, "First I sucked in, then I blew out," is kind of funny.
It's so funny because
I'm just talking whistling.
I'm jealous of people. who
Do you remember
can.
that song? Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby.
Oh.
Let me know. Like I had no reason singing that. at
Wait, is
age,
that
like,
about, is
12.
that about sucking dick?
Yes.
Oh my
Is it?
God,
Yes.
I didn't. I
So
learn
wrong.
something new every day.
So wrong.
If you listen to if you read the lyrics, it's like actually, it's not. It's bad.
Terrifying.
And the fact that I knew every single word and would be like, "Mom, let me show you the dance I made up to whistle." It's probably like,
Yeah, but our parents didn't really know. I feel like my parents definitely didn't at the time. Probably didn't think whistle.
My parents knew.
It
was-
literally says you just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby.
Never mind.
That seems clear. My sister got this will date me, but my sister for Christmas got a Vanilla Ice cassette when Ice Ice Baby was popular. Are you familiar?
Of course,
Uh,
but what?
He has another song called "Stop That Train." I want to get off. And then my dad read the lyrics and took the tape away from my sister.
Aw.
He was like, "Yeah, you
Careful.
can't read the lyrics to Stop That Train."
Stop that train.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice.
Is a train like
He wants to get off.
of like a train with someone like doing?
Well,
like,
I think
Is
it's a
this
metaphor.
for what?
I think getting off, like
oh, not
Not
literally
really.
getting off, but like
Getting off.
like getting
Getting
off.
off.
You said your
Aw.
dad got you that for your sister.
Okay.
it was like a Christmas present. I don't know if my dad got it. I think, or they
Aw.
did, and then
And
he
they didn't
read the
know.
lyrics and didn't know. I remember that.
He'll
Here's
know
here's
now.
two of the verses. What have I gotten into? Sooner or later, I thought she'd got the clue because my body was tired and full of sweat and perspire. The situation I was in could have started a campfire. No more skeezing and teasing for the ice right now. I find my corner, play it cool for a while, just macking and scheming on a woman I thought was cool, but now I realize that the ice was the fool.
Have you ever written a song where you're like, I can't. This is just I can't put this out. This is crazy.
God, I want to tell you,
Tell me.
Well,
but
now's
I
not the
have.
time to keep secrets.
You have?
Yeah.
But I can't because like it's coming out.
Can you give us like a like
It's about
like
an
a tease.
orgasm though.
yes.
It's about an
Yes.
orgasm.
and the lack that happens for
Like,
us.
sorry, mom and dad, if
women.
you're watching, change No, definitely. It's about an orgasm. Mhm.
Oh my
And
God.
it's just kind of, it's about an orgasm, but we're not saying it.
right.
You're hitting like, it's, I can't
Everyone
say the
knows.
words because it's not out yet, but you'll know. It'll come
You
out.
want to tease it a little bit?
Oh, it's just like about
What was the
popping
inspiration?
the cherry and all that.
Oh
Like
my
a lot of
God.
those lyrics are in there, but the inspiration was just like being on a high with someone and just like, excuse my friends, we're having a lot of sex.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
Do your parents listen to all your interviews?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying so hard.
She's like,
Well, they're
not
gonna hear the
say-
song.
Yeah.
I know, but it's something different when you hear it with the beat. Like it feels different.
Is
Me
it gonna be
actually
weird?
talking
Talking about
about it?
When your dad's in the living room just cranking up the new orgasm song and
He
he's
probably
just like,
won't.
"Ava,
He
this is
probably
so
won't.
great."
I know. He'll say it for the first time and then he'll be like, never mind, next song. That's not my favorite song.
What about the music video?
I know. I don't know yet what it's gonna be. A lot of cherries.
how does it feel doing music videos now? I feel like it was such a big thing years ago. Does it still feel the same?
I
or
still love it.
you
I
still
don't
love
care, honestly, what anyone says. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not cool anymore to do a whole big one. I'm like, I'll always make a music video, like any day of the week. I think it's so beautiful to share the song in a visual way. Like, I think even when I'm creating this record, I see it visually in my head. And so I kind of feel awkward when I don't make a music video.
Yeah, I feel like that's the best way to see what the artist like meant for the song.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we interpret it however we want to as fans, but like to see your thought behind a music video, it makes it, I don't know.
I love it. It's more, I feel like I connect to the fans more that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the love life like these days?
Oh, the love life. I love these questions.
Single and mingling?
I'm dating.
As much as you're
I'm dating. No, I'm
willing to share.
dating. Just dating.
You're dating.
Yeah.
What
I'm dating.
what are your top 5 things that you find attractive in a partner?
Funny.
Mm.
A good heart. Good heart's number one. Sorry. I can tell if someone has a good heart.
How
And
so?
that's attractive.
I think
just-
we have a lot of women who listen to the show who are out there, they're single, they're mingling, they're
My
looking for
friends-
love and they're looking to Ava.
My friends would call me psychic, actually, because
Oh.
I feel like they always show me the guy's face before they go on a date. And I'm like, either like, oh no, he sucks. Oh no, he's a loser. Oh no, he's just horrible. Oh no, he's gonna break your heart. Like, and I'm always right. And they're like, Ava, just look at this face. What do you think? I'm like, okay, that one feels good. I don't know, something with the eyes. I can feel it in the eyes. But if I were to like say, like, if you're on a first date, right, and you're trying to size him up,
Mhm.
again, I go based a lot on energy. But I think it's the way he treats, like, let's say the waitress or the waiter, saying thank you so much, taking time to just be nice to everyone around us. I think that's super important. I don't like it when people are rude. I'm not a rude person, so I can't be with a rude person. Or
Yeah.
I want to throw up. I'm like, ugh. I need to leave. Like, I've been on a date before where it just feels this guy's just so egotistical. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
So a good heart is number one. But I think, like, it's tough to say. It's energy. You got to really feel it. Gut instinct, that first gut instinct too.
So Nallie's your friend. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to go on a date with this Nick guy. What's the energy?"
Yeah, look into Nick's eyes
Yeah,
and
look
tell
into
me
my
if he's a
eyes.
shit person or not.
We're getting married this weekend, so this is like the last chance to like
Nick,
let her know.
yeah. Yeah, if I need to back away.
I'm like, wait a second. Yeah. No.
But seriously, we are getting married this weekend. So
Which congrats. I'm
Thank you.
so happy for y'all.
Crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's so crazy.
This is huge.
any advice for us?
Any advice? Because I've been married multiple times.
It
No,
doesn't matter. I think sometimes
be nice to
I
each
think those
other.
of us who have I'm not married yet, but those of us who have tried and
I've been in a long relationship,
been
a
in
7-year
love and
relationship.
failed,
yeah.
I think people who have had their ups and downs have a lot of sage advice to offer.
I will say this. I've learned a lot. I've been in a few relationships and one really, really long one. So I think just know that, like, if you have a good time with that person, don't take it for granted. I think that is number one. It's like life is long, but it's also short. That's what I've come to realize. So, like, we just got to love the people that are around us. And I don't know. I'm at a place where I want to live each day very positive, be with someone who motivates you, obviously. And I mean, you guys just had a kid together. That's just like that's the closest thing you could possibly do together. That's beautiful. And just be happy and treat each other with kindness. That's what I think. I know it sounds so cliche, but it's
That's pretty good advice.
I was
Kindness
about to
is
say, I
so
feel like
important.
the cliche things is like
And
actually
communication
what-
is number one too. I think communication, sometimes if you don't have communication, that breaks up a relationship quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed, like when it's just two closed off people.
Oh yeah.
Do your friends come to you for advice or the other way around?
They do. They
Do
come.
you often,
Both, but yeah.
are you good at taking your own advice for your own love life?
It's funny when I start talking to them, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably take that for myself.
I should probably done that.
Yeah, but that's human nature. When you give your friends advice, you're not like, I mean, you want well for them. You wish them well. You want them to be happy, but you're not personally impacted by
No, of course. There's
them.
good and
So you
bad
can
in
be
everyone
objective.
too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's good and bad in everyone. No one is 100% perfect. That's another thing I've really realized. Like, and not to say I never ever thought like, oh, everybody is perfect. I don't think that. Like, I don't think I'm perfect. I just think going into relationships in the past, I'm like, oh, I can't handle this. It's like, no, it's like, but why? Why? What's going on? Is that something in me? Like, do I need to fix that? It's like looking inward, I think, is very important in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Putting yourself in the other person's shoes, I've learned to do, and it works.
Empathy. There you go.
Empathy. I'm an empath, though. I really feel for people. I'm like a mother in a way in a relationship. Like I'm always just like I want to take care.
Yeah, that's how I am too.
Another huge star like yourself who's recently like been kind of very proud of her relationship, Taylor Swift. Are you a Swiftie?
Oh, yes.
Also, like
Definitely a Swiftie. I love her. I love what she's done. And it's funny, a lot of people ask me, oh, why you? Why'd you make it? Why did you make it all of a sudden? And I look at them, I'm like, it's just consistency. And that's what she's doing, just consistency. Anyone who's consistent in their craft will continue to go up. And I think that's one thing new artists forget. They
that's
like,
great advice.
right?
Yeah.
I think just keep going. Oh, you want to take 2-year break? It's going to have an effect on your career. You got to keep going. Even if it's a little step, keep going because you're still going up, right?
Yeah.
I think that is the number one advice I'd give to young artists. And that's what Taylor does. And I think that's what we can learn from her. She doesn't stop. She keeps going. Even if there's a problem in her career or whatever, she keeps going.
Yeah. Even if you don't think she's working today, she's
Yeah.
doing something.
That
she's
is
thinking
the
about
secret
something.
sauce. That's
no
the
one cares about
secret-
her business more than Taylor.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the secret to success. If you stop, it's over. You just got to keep going and it's going to happen. It's right there.
Is that something you picked up from her, or have you always had that mentality as well? And you just also see that in what she's doing?
It's almost like I can't give up if I tried. Like my whole body doesn't allow it. Like I'm happiest when I'm working too. So that's like, maybe that's a flaw in me. I just love to work. I'm working constantly. Even on vacation sometimes on the second day, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do something today. You know, it's strange. But I also feel like, you know, I'm human. I get sad and angry and upset. And it's okay to take a day or two, but then just get back on it. It's
Yeah.
like, I think it's important.
When she writes, she's like very well known for her little Easter eggs and clues in her song. Is that something you do when you write music, or not as much?
I do it sometimes. I did it for the last album. I don't know. It depends. I'm not as like, I feel like she really goes in, and I think that's her thing. Everyone has a thing. I don't know. I just think she's great. I think she's great. Again, she keeps doing things. Whatever it is, she keeps doing it, and we all love to watch.
Doesn't it get exhausting?
It is exhausting. It is exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the traveling is hard. Like my first world tour last year was so fun, so incredible. It gave me so much like love inside performing every night. But traveling to a different country almost every day was exhausting.
Oh God, I bet.
But I try and sleep wherever I can. You know, sleep for me is number one.
I've been seeing a lot of like, I remember this was a thing, I think when Harry Styles was on tour, but like people throwing things on stage. And I know last year you were like attacked.
I was.
I mean,
by a very big man.
Like, first of all, are you okay?
No, I was good. He scratched the inside of my eyeball and
What?
like,
Jesus
and he
Christ.
smacked me, and I like fell back. I mean, there's a video of it.
Yeah, I
Was
remember seeing
was he
that.
actually attacking you, or was he being
He came
an
on
idiot?
stage and attacked me. Yeah, and thank God one of my crew members and bodyguard, like they just grabbed him right before he could like really
Jesus.
fall on me, because he was a big guy, like 6'4" maybe, massive guy. And I was like, and I thought for a second there, I thought one of the dancers' shoes hit me in the face, and I was like, what? That's not the routine. I'm like, wait a second.
We practiced this a lot.
And
This
then
has
I look
never
over and
happened.
I'm like, oh, I just got hit. I just got hit. And like, cause I was saying goodbye to the crowd. It was the last song. I mean, it was the last,
Yeah.
you know, I was saying goodbye. It was in LA here. And so I was like, goodbye, everybody. Love you. And boom, got hit. It's interesting.
Was he a fan? Do we know?
He, on Twitter, he has like this obsession. Like he got his mom involved saying I'm his like, she's like saying I'm her daughter-in-law.
Oh,
Mm.
no.
So a little bit of a creepy obsession.
Yeah. Oh my God.
A little scary, follows all my friends. Like, I don't know. It is terrifying sometimes because that creepy obsession could turn into, I mean, hopefully not something bad, but something bad. And it scares me a little.
But I feel like that, like,
But
yeah, the fans like wanna, with like throwing things on stage. I know they want to like give you, I don't know if they've ever done that to you. Obviously, this was like,
they throw things like teddy bears and roses.
teddy
And I
bears
think
are
that's,
nice.
yeah, it's cute. But when a 6'4" man comes and attacks you, it's a little frightening, obviously.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm just happy everybody else was safe and we were all good.
I
You
feel
know.
like it could have gotten really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with it, I guess. Yeah, it did hurt.
I
It did
gotta
hurt.
say, it's something I've always wondered and never asked a musician, but like the dancing and the singing on stage seems very difficult.
It is when I have a glass of wine the night before, for sure. I'm,
That's
like,
it? That's the only
sweating
time
it.
it's hard?
I swear, when I drink the night before, it's a lot harder. But then when I get some rest and like it's okay. It's like kind of like just a good workout.
But how much practice
But
goes
it is
into
hard.
that? Because the choreography, the singing, you know, doing
The
it while you're the
breathing.
breathing, you
Yeah.
know, like I can't sing, period, but I imagine you need your breath, you know.
I
and
work
energy.
out before every show.
Okay.
And that gets me going beforehand. If I don't work out before an hour show, it is very difficult to take a deep breath and like keep going. And in the middle of the show, you're just like, ow, my chest kind of hurts because you're just like, you're not stopping, you know? So, so I try to get some workout in beforehand and it really helps. And I meditate. Yeah.
You meditate.
Meditate.
How long have
Nick
you been
just
doing
told
that?
me yesterday he needs to start meditating.
Yeah, I did.
Sometimes it's 10 minutes. Sometimes it's 15 minutes. Sometimes it's 30 minutes even. I just really try to meditate every day, especially before a show. I'm not as good. Actually, it's funny. I'm more in shape and on my game when I'm touring than at home. At home, I'm like, you know, I don't sleep as much. I drink a little more. I'm just like, the routine is off when I'm home.
Yeah.
But that's all I do on tour. So
Do you find it difficult to like manage relationships or date while you're on tour with your hectic schedule?
that's a great question because yep, I do find it difficult.
Well, I'm married to a musician,
So
so
you're
I
on the
know
other end.
like, yeah, so that's
Yeah.
why I ask you like what your thoughts are on that.
It's hard because I'm a quality time person. So I
Mhm.
like
Is that
to
your love language?
Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me being far away for such a long period of time. Like 2 weeks usually is like max for me. And then I have to see that person. Or like vice versa. They have to come to me. Because I think 2 weeks is a good rule to have. Like wherever I am in the world, if I'm in a relationship, I want to see that person within that. You know,
Every
I
2
can
weeks.
handle 2 weeks. But then more than 2 weeks, it doesn't feel like a relationship to me.
So like long
Yeah.
distance would be off the table for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I kind of do that sometimes when I'm traveling, but not, longer than 2 weeks. Like,
Sure.
it's not for me. I'm a quality time person.
Like,
It's
we kind
hard.
of met long distance and then, but it was like every 2 or 3 weeks we would
Mhm.
see each other.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely a good.
Mhm.
But also, distance makes the heart grow fonder, right?
It does.
But yeah,
So
it's like
fun to
2
miss.
weeks is like is a good
Like, you
I
feel like you're
miss
just
you.
like, ooh.
yeah, it's been long enough, but also not too long. That's a
Yeah,
good.
where you don't lose momentum.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for it because I just have this 2 week thing. It's like a 2 week rule, I think. And it's healthy, I think, because then you're like, am I in a relationship?
Despite you being kind of psychic and good advice for friends, is there something that's like what's your dating kryptonite? Like what puts the blinders on for you? What is it about a guy that you might ignore a red flag or two?
Like a pet peeve? No.
No, almost like the opposite. The thing that you're drawn to,
Mm.
that like you have a tendency of overlooking things that maybe you should like not, but you know, it's like maybe because they're always so funny or they're
Emotionally unavailable men.
you have a thing for emotionally unavailable men.
No.
Yeah, it's yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think I have a thing for that. And it's not even that I have a thing for that. It's more so like I like the timid and shy person and sweet person, right? Quiet. Maybe it's not timid and shy. It's not timid and shy.
Because quiet can be confident.
Yes, I love confidence. I think confidence is number one. So confident and quiet. I'm not a big fan of like massive talker.
The loudest guy in the room.
Yeah, I'm more so. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
But those quiet ones, sometimes once you get to know them, they can be a little closed off.
Yeah, you never know. And I think and I think it's going well in the beginning, and then I feel like almost like we're not on the same path sometimes. But again, I can't speak for everyone, obviously, like all quiet guys, right? But I it's hard for me sometimes to tell the difference whether or not they want a committed relationship or not.
That's a lot of people these days.
I'm all or nothing.
So what is the Ava Max dating timeline? We had a guest. No, I only asked because we had a
I'm
guest
trying
recently.
To whoever I'm dating now is gonna see this.
Well, it's important to know because
Hi.
I think nowadays when it comes to dating culture, there's a lot of unknowns. We recently had our guest, our friend Tom Schwartz, who came on with his new girlfriend, and they talked about how they're not official yet, but they are in love. Which a lot of
Aw.
people.
See, I don't like that.
There you go. So a
That
lot of
is-
people found that to be.
I'm like, adios.
Yeah.
My love language more so now is like, if I don't feel that, that I need that passion. And if I don't have it on the other end, adios.
So how many
Adios.
dates?
I'm like,
before
how
you
many
define a
adioses?
relation-
Yeah.
How many dates do you before you define a relationship? Because a lot of people now are just trying not to. Everyone's trying not to define a relationship.
If I don't think by the third date you can be my boyfriend, or even I know pretty quickly.
Yeah, you can read it in
I'm
the
a love
eyes.
at first sight kind of girl. Like I can every time it's happened, it's been like, you're mine.
okay,
You're
so but
mine.
like after
I can feel it.
if you know in 3 dates, but what happens?
But after 3 dates, if I don't feel like it's going anywhere, I feel like I have to have.
And how would a guy make you
Mm.
feel like it's going somewhere after 3 dates? Well, like all right, so you go on
So funny.
2 dates. Now you're on your third, and you're like, I can see it. I like this guy. What does he have to do? Like, are you guys are you having the talk then?
I mean, we could, or we could just, if I feel like it's mutual, I won't have the talk.
Okay.
But if I'm a little confused, I'm like, why would I lock down to someone if I'm confused? Because again, I'm loyal from the bat. Like if I like someone, I'm loyal. Like I don't want to talk to anyone else. Everyone else is blocked. Goodbye. I'm gonna focus on one person. Like
Do
if
y-
I really like someone.
Do you make the first move, or are you they can
I like to make the first move.
you do?
I'm a little feisty, you know.
Nelly
That's
made the
good.
first
I'm
move.
a-
Yes,
You did?
I
Yeah.
did.
See? I
I did.
love yes, girl.
I did. I made the first
yes.
move, and now we're getting married.
Yes.
Well, you could argue she made the first, like
400.
second, third.
Because I know a
move.
lot of
Yeah.
girls, I know a lot of girls don't like to make the first move, but I've always made the first move. And again, to each their own. For me personally, it works out best that way.
It truly does. That's what I try to tell people all the time, and they're like, "No, but I don't chase. I
No, of
attract."
course.
And I'm like, "It's not chasing. You're just simply saying like
We should go out.
you're hot.
Hey, do you want to grab a drink?
Yeah.
How are you?
Really attracted to you.
yeah. Like, no, but I agree. I think it's like the most confident thing you can do is just to be like, hey,
Yeah,
Let's, like-
I'm like you then. I'm like you in that way. Yeah. I obviously it's cool when someone comes on to me, but honestly, I'm less attracted to that.
same.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God,
ew.
it's the worst. I'm like, why are you even talking to me right now?
And I'm like,
was
this
like,
is
I
a
didn't
cr-
come
like
up
you
to you.
trying
Wait,
to like
you
shoot
like
your
me? Like,
No, 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 it's
disgusting.
like-
I'm like, ugh.
No, it's like cringy to see a guy like try to flirt and like shoot their shot with you is kind of how
And
I
it's
felt.
not that I like to chase, right? It's not even that because my friends are like, girl, you like to chase what? Like, you like to chase.
Mm-mm.
And I'm just like, no, it's not that. I think in the beginning,
It's more just
It-
kind of marking your territory. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm shooting my shot. I'm calling. I'm just pointing out that
And
I'm
they-
interested.
yeah.
It's not like I didn't feel like Natalie. She made the first move, but she wasn't like begging for it. She was just like, "Hey, what's
Yeah,
up?"
like-
And then she like made me kind of show her that I was interested. You know what I'm saying?
I like
yeah.
that. And I also like, because like, for instance, like if a guy comes on to me too strong, I'm like, how many girls are you coming on?
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
Yeah,
Every
if they're
day.
too good, if they're like too suave,
It's not hot to me.
it's gross.
Yeah.
It's not hot to me at all.
What's the
Mm-mm.
worst pickup line you've ever heard?
Do people still do pickup lines? Is that
I've-
still-
I've
I mean,
got-
like if
I've
there's a
gotten a
move,
few.
there's a move. You know, you can tell if someone's serving
You've had
up
a
a
few?
move.
I've had a few
Oh
weird
my
ones,
gosh.
especially when they know who I am if I'm at a bar and they're like, are you the girl singing Sweet But Psycho?
and you're
They're like, I'm
really?
obsessed with that record. Are you actually Sweet But Psycho though?
Oh,
Oh.
And I'm just like,
Oh.
And I'm just like, totally. I'm like, but my friends are waiting for me, so I'm gonna be right back. And
Yeah.
I don't.
I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
And I just feel uncomfortable. Like I don't.
No, because I get it. Like you're thinking, no guy that I would ever date would ever say that to me.
No, it's
He would never say
weird.
that to me.
I had a guy just send me paragraphs on paragraphs, like about sending me my own footage. Like, look at how cool this is and that is. Like nonstop for days, sending me all of my performances and like.
You're like, yeah, I've seen them.
I know I've seen them, but like talking, it's cute, it's sweet, but I'm just like I don't want to talk about that. I'm just like I want to get to know you and vice versa, not about like my singing constantly. You know?
Does it make you uncomfortable when people know who you are?
It does.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Would you date a fan?
I don't think so.
You wouldn't.
I don't think so.
They would have to
I'm like if you
not
hate
act like a fan.
if you hate my music, I love you. No. I mean, I love my music. Obviously, I love what I make, but it's when someone doesn't talk about my music and feels like they really want to get to know Amanda. You know, I'm like, okay, I can feel that, and I can get down with that.
Okay, what is your favorite first date conversation? Like, what do you want to talk about? Like, what is you're on a first date, and
Definitely
what
not me.
But what could he want to talk about that makes you go, I'm into this conversation? Like, how would you want to spend like an hour meeting and getting to know a guy?
Getting to know where they came from, like who they are, what they like. I know simple stuff like favorite food, like what they want out of life. I like talking about the future a lot. Like I'm a dreamer, so
Like, what about the future?
I could sit and have wine and talk about the future for hours, just like life and what we want to achieve. And I mean, I definitely am looking for like a partner. Like I love a partnership. You know, I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing when two people can come together and make something beautiful.
No.
Do you find it difficult to date other musicians?
I don't. I don't.
You don't date them, or you don't find it difficult?
I don't date them.
Oh,
Okay.
Obviously, if one came along and there was
She was
crazy
just like, no,
chemistry,
no, absolutely
no,
not.
I feel so bad because if one came along and I was like, oh my God, we have great chemistry, it's over. But I'd love it. Again, I'm all about chemistry, but I haven't found that I'm like, I have crazy chemistry with
Would you rather date a musician or a math teacher?
a math teacher.
A math teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm nerdy like that. I like
A cop
nerds.
or a
I actually like
firefighter?
I do
nerds. I
too.
like dorks.
You like
Yeah, same.
nerds? Okay.
Like a confident dork.
A confident, sexy dork.
Yeah, glasses for sure. A little tie.
Chanel
Muscles, no
glasses.
muscles.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love it. Oh God, I'm blushing.
What do you feel like in your career was like the pivotal moment where you were like, I've made it. Like I'm a pop star.
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's so pop star is such a funny word. And
It's iconic.
even me saying no, that's what I am. It's weird.
I hear what you're saying. But you're a pop star. We're saying it.
You're a pop star.
It's thanks guys, but it's just so weird to hear. But I
It's like, what do
definitely
you do for work? I'm a pop star.
Yeah.
I'm an accountant. Oh, cool.
it's tough because like obviously I love to sing and make music, but the fame aspect of it I don't love. Hence why I wear glasses because I'm just like lights. Like I'm not like I like the dark, you know.
She's a vampire.
I'm a vampire,
Yes.
and if I can be in the dark all the time, oof, I love it. Yeah, that's my dream. But I think it's great. But I definitely think I felt it when I was traveling a lot after Sweet But Psycho. I had never been to Europe, so when Sweet But Psycho got big, mind you, it got big within like 2-3 weeks. It went #1 everywhere, and I lost my mind. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What is going on right now? It was like the only pop song on New Music Friday at the time. And I was like, I don't even know if people are going to like it. And they did. And I started hearing it everywhere.
That must be
People were
surreal.
singing. It was surreal. I was living in almost like I wasn't in my normal reality. It felt like a fake reality. I'm like, okay, this is real. And I need to learn to get used to it. But for a couple years, I was like in shock. Imposter syndrome. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember where you were the first time you heard yourself on the radio?
Yeah, I think Finland.
Oh.
Finland.
Yeah, in a bus.
Hmm.
And I started screaming and I like literally did this and I fell.
Oh.
Like I over
Like a
traumatized
tour
it.
bus, though.
No, it was
Like
like
a
a
public
sprinter just going to
transportation.
like radio stations singing
Oh,
my song
okay.
acoustic. You know, like
Oh,
going.
no,
but
I
the
was doing
driver
so much
just, like,
promo.
Had the radio on.
Yeah, and I heard Sweet But Psycho, and I legit fell on my knees and then back. I'm like, this is crazy.
Oh my God.
It was so surreal.
Do you have a song, Weapons? and the lyrics about you're using your words against me. I really enjoyed those lyrics. What was your inspiration for that? Just because I think nowadays people love to use various words, in a relationship, and they're like people will turn gaslighting is such a common phrase, and I feel like that's like
Gaslighting is tough because that I have such a funny feeling about that word now because it's so used so
co-opted
much
and misused.
and misused.
Yeah.
It's misused. And I definitely do not like it when someone gaslights me. I mean, that is a pet peeve of mine as well. Like, I'm just like, whoa, I can see it. But when it's used a lot, that's when I'm just like, in a relationship, that's when I'm just like, okay, I was wondering, like, I'm not being gaslight. I'm not gaslighting. And I think that's when it becomes kind of a problem in a relationship.
Yeah.
When it's just like, when you're trying to discuss.
Was
and
that song about a particular relationship?
It was about everything, but mainly that song was not about a relationship. It was about just how people were talking bad about me when I first made it on the scene. And they were just like calling me a copycat and they were calling me all these things. And it was kind of hurting me. And because words are like weapons, they go straight to your heart and your mind, and it kind of diminishes your light. And that is what that song is about. It's just how I'm just like kind of shutting it out now. And even now when I read it, I'm just like, I know my truth.
Are you
You know?
good at not reading the comments and the bullshit and all that stuff?
I'm not good at not reading it because I'm online and I read it, but I should take a break from social media.
Yeah, no, it can be exhausting.
But I'm human too. I get hurt from
Yeah.
some comments, but people all have different opinions. That's what I've learned. And it's just what it is,
You can't please everyone.
Yeah, everyone thinks differently. Everyone grew up differently. Everyone looks at you differently. It's never going to be one way.
How do you feel like as an artist and as a person, you're the most misunderstood?
I think because I don't share a lot of my personal life. They think I'm this like industry plant sometimes, right? Some people.
An industry plant.
I've read that. It's comedy to me because I'm like, that's so not what it is. I worked so hard, like growing up, to make it over 15 years. It took me over 15 years to break through. And I'm like, if people only knew all of it, and even the haircut, they always thought like the label made me cut my hair like that. The max cut, I guess. And it wasn't that. I was just wanting something weird and different. And I wanted to look completely different than everyone else. So I just did that myself. And online they're like, she's forced to put that wig on. And I'm just like, no, I actually love playing with wigs. I love different hairstyles. And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and louder in my head. So it kind of hurt me in the beginning. But I now know I'm like, it doesn't matter. The noise doesn't matter anymore.
Why do you feel like you were so closed off personally to your fans? Is that just kind of a barrier you want to keep?
I think for my own sanity.
Yeah.
I think since we're all energy, I believe that we're all energy and we're made up of stars, stardust. I think if I released all of my personal information out there, it would crumble because not only is there positive energy, there is negative energy and it can tear it down. So I tried to keep my personal life private.
I think there's also something to be said about like people can hate on what they see and you can be like, well, that's not true. You don't know me. You don't know me. But then when you do show them real parts of you and you show them your real personality and you show
And then
them,
they relate. Yeah.
and then they hate on that, then it feels a little,
Or hate
it
on
feels
it.
so much more, well, it just feels so much
Well, yeah,
more
but you're right.
personal
Both.
because it's like, that's actually who I am. And like, so it just feels, I think, harder to show people that personal side.
I'm learning more and more to show my personal side. I mean, this is probably one of the first interviews I'm talking about really anything personal because I am trying to open that side up to my fans, and I know they want to know. So I'm trying. I'm just a very private person.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me, and that's the part of fame I guess I
mean,
don't like.
We get it. I mean, I feel like every week there's always something that I'll go to Natalie or vice versa, and I'll be like, should we share this or should I share this? And she'll come to me, and our first thought is like, yeah, why not? Like, what we're proud of it, or not, or that's a vulnerability that I think could help people or whatever it is. But it's always a reminder. I'll remind Natalie or vice versa. It's just like, well, we don't have to share this because once you do, it's out there. And I always kind of remind Natalie, it's like, just know that like if they use it against you, how would that affect you? Because that is always a reality of being vulnerable and putting yourself out there and sharing more of your personal side. And that can be difficult because no matter how well-intentioned you are, there will always be someone who tries to tear it to shreds or rip it apart or
No, of
make
course.
some weird accusations, and it affects you.
Again, everybody's different. For me, I came into this industry wanting to share my music, wanting to perform, singing, writing songs. I didn't really think about the fame aspect. So I'm almost like a late bloomer with sharing my personal side because I didn't want to, so stubborn about it. I just couldn't fathom it. So now it's more of like, no, I want the fans to know a little bit. You know, I do. I don't want to hide behind a curtain. So I think this year is definitely like the year I come out of the curtain almost, but it's a learning process because it's hard for me, you know.
It is hard.
It's hard for me.
What about it is the hardest part, though? Have you been burned for it? Like, did you try in the past and regret it?
It's not even that. I think I'm just a private person.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to. I try and keep things separate, and that's all it is. It's not that the words, like, I've always gotten hate from things. It's not, oh, what are they going to say about it? That doesn't really bother me. It's more so just a decision now I'm making to open up a little more. So it's just a new decision.
I think we're all excited to learn more about Ava Max.
Are you ready to give some relationship advice?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You're gonna do so good.
If you like shopping and earning cash back, then you have to check out Ibotta. Spring has sprung, and that means spring cleaning. Whether that means stocking up on cleaning supplies or swapping out your winter clothes with new spring clothes, Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies to toys. So you can make sure that you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That's like one really good shopping trip. That's some real money. I mean, listen, for anyone who likes to shop, you might, like, there is like no reason not to get some cash back. You know, again, shopping for clothes, shopping for, just supplies that you need, toys for your kids. It doesn't matter. You can earn cash back on all of them. Other apps give you points that don't match the amount. With Ibotta, just add up your offers in the app, upload the receipt, and you get real cash that you can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Join the over 50 million users and earn cash back every time you shop from over 2,700 brands and retailers, including all your favorite grocery stores, plus Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and so much more. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code VIALL when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code VIALL. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code VIALL. Vessi! Do you have a pair of Vessi shoes yet? Why not? I mean, we've been talking about Vessi shoes for the longest time here at the Viall Files because we truly believe in them. And we believe that every person should have a pair of Vessi shoes because they are high quality, great looking, waterproof, not even water resistant. Some of you walk to work and unfortunately hit that pothole puddle. And now you've been walking around that whoosh, whoosh, whoosh every day. That's nonsense. Stop having to travel with 18 different pairs of shoes or tennis shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's like one pair is going to get wet. Not with Vessi. Whether you're hiking, a day at the beach, in the city, Vessi has you covered. Their weekend sneaker, your go-to for any and every activity, whether it's a beach day, a city adventure, a casual hangout, the weekend sneaker is all about versatility and comfort. And it has that kind of classic sneaker look. Or they have their Stormburst Low Tap. That's right. It's more of a, for those sneakerheads, those kind of like high design, really cool looking sneakers. In addition to the great shoes, they now have a great Westerly jacket.
The Westerly Coach jacket will get you through any type of weather. In LA, it can be so all over the place. The other day, you remember, it just like randomly stormed.
That was unreal.
Unreal. And so having that Westerly Coach jacket is crucial.
It's the perfect jacket to keep in your car or to like go to work with every day because it comes in some great colors. You can style it with anything. It looks great. It's very clean. It fits well, and it's going to keep you dry. It's the coolest looking raincoat you'll ever have. I don't even need it to be waterproof. I love it so much. Elevate your spontaneous activities with Vessi's Stormburst or weekend shoes together with their Westerly Coach jacket. Discover more at Vessi.com/VIALL. Get your pair today to get an automatic 15% off your first purchase at checkout and be ready to stay cool and dry. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Kira. I'm 25, and I went through my boyfriend's phone and found some DMs to girls and also text his ex-girlfriend.
Okay, when did you? I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, it's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
What made? How long you been dating him?
A year.
A year. Okay.
Yeah.
What made you want to go through his phone? Is this the first time you've gone through his phone, or is this the first time
Yeah.
you found something?
No, this is the first time I've honestly ever done that. And this did happen a few days ago, so like this past weekend. So still pretty fresh, and I'm praying I'm not gonna cry.
Okay.
But yeah, this was this past weekend, so it's the first time I've ever had that urge. And I guess that urge was right.
What gave you the urge?
To be honest, so we've been dating for a little over a year now, and we just kind of got to this place. Like honestly, this relationship has been really good. And we had just gone on this like amazing trip together. Started talking about like, the future and like, marriage, kids, just kind of taking it like to the next step. And then this past Friday night, like we had gone out a little bit and then came back. And this is going to sound a little psycho. He fell asleep and I was like making myself food in his apartment and I was like going to get in bed. He had fallen asleep on the couch. I was going to get into bed. And as I was walking back, I saw he had like fell asleep on his phone so that it was like staying open. And I remember I just like looked at it and I was like, I should look at that. And so I picked it up and I just went like right to Instagram and started going through and just found, like months and months of DMs to girls, random girls, like
Multiple women. It wasn't like just
yeah.
one.
No, it was like a lot. And the weird thing about it was that, he would either respond to a story, like DM them something random, and then they would respond, and then he wouldn't respond. But then maybe like a month later, there was like another one where he would say something, they would respond, he wouldn't respond.
And these aren't like women that you know of or like his friend. These are like strangers or just like random Instagram girlies.
I mean, nobody that I know.
You didn't know any of
the only person, I knew was obviously not even personally knew, but, his ex-girlfriend. The other girls, like some were girls that, he had been following. And obviously, like going back, I could see that there were, previous conversations. Yeah, like some of them, it's kind of embarrassing. It's like, I keep kind of laughing. So I'm like, I like get the ick by guys that do this. I'm like, I'm dating one of those guys. Like, this is embarrassing. But yeah, he was like girls he followed, some girls that he didn't. Like it was like, these messages would be sitting in their request box, like on their Instagram.
Like what kind of messages? Or is he like,
I'm in shock.
do you have screenshots?
I have screenshots. I have
Yes.
notes.
Oh my
I
God.
have everything.
Love-
Have you
thank
confronted-
God, Kira,
she came
we
prepared.
love you.
Oh, I came, listen, like I came prepared. Like the messages were definitely like flirty and like not necessarily like explicit, but definitely flirty. Like we could have been so cute. Let's go out. Let's get drinks.
What?
Come visit. I have a bedroom for you. I would have invited you.
I can't. Are you still with him right now?
Yeah.
Have you confronted him?
Yeah.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
You
I
have?
can't. I'm pretty like direct. And like that night I was reading them and I feel like if me maybe 2-3 years ago, if I found this, I would have defaced his apartment, left in the middle of the night, and burnt the entire city down. But I've moved
You've
beyond
matured.
that. So I just like took it in and, kind of just sat with it. And I ended up going to sleep and, waiting until the morning. And then when he got up, he like came and got in bed, tried to touch me. And I was like, don't fucking touch me. And then it kind of went from there. And he was like, why? And I just was like, I feel like I don't have to tell you why. Like, I don't think I need to explain this. And then we sat in silence for a bit.
Did he know?
I think he must have known, like, deep down. But then as we went on, I was like, you fell asleep on your phone last night and left it open. And he was like, what did you see? And I was like, again, I
What
feel
did
like I
you
don't
see?
have to
That's
tell
a
you that.
terrible question.
You're being way nicer than how I would have been.
What did you see means it makes it sound like which app did you open?
Yeah.
Because there's more. Does he have Snapchat?
Yeah, I did look at that and that didn't really
No.
unearth much.
Okay.
Texts, I went through all that.
What
and
was with
there
the
was-
ex-girlfriend?
That was like, it was kind of bizarre. And this one, it wasn't flirty like these other ones, but I just was like, why? It was, I guess they had run into each other and then they went back and forth a little bit. And the girlfriend was like, we have to catch up sometime and kind of just stuff like that. But I
Weird.
just think that's weird. I'm just
Just
like, why?
unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Where are you two now, and what can we actually help you out with?
So we had this conversation Saturday morning, and the conversation on Saturday morning, I felt like it went really well, and he like really like took accountability and took it on the nose and just was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I hate seeing you hurt. Like, I hate seeing you like this. And then that day I actually had like a friend in town. So I kind of had to like I felt good by the end of it. And then I had to like go see my friend and we're running around. And I also feel like I don't want to tell like any of my friends about this because I think they would deface his apartment and burn the city down for me. So I just kind of like went on with my day. And I think I was just in shock then. And then like Sunday, I started to get really just sad and I just was like crying all day. And then yesterday I had work and so I'm busy, and then actually Sunday night he ended up like calling me and like he wanted me to come over, he wanted to talk about it. However, this is kind of where I'm now like very conflicted is I went over and he claimed that he had talked to his therapist, which he's been in therapy for like I guess a little over a year, like prior to me. And his therapist put this thing, you guys are gonna die, put this thing in his head that was like, well, what made her go through why would she go through your phone?
Oh, and tried to
Like,
like
why
turn it on you.
Yeah. So now that Sunday it became a thing of like him being like, well, I didn't know we were like in a relationship like that you're gonna go through my phone. I've never had anybody do that to me. Do I have to hide my phone from you? And I was like, please, like, get a grip, really.
No, you
Do I
guys.
have to hide my phone from you?
Oh, this is
Yeah.
an immediate runaway.
Okay.
So this is where we're at.
Ghost
like
the
him,
bitch.
right now, he's still trying to turn it on you.
Last night when we talked, like he called me because I mean, I was like sobbing, crying.
Wait,
and
like, did he
ended up-
literally call you up and be like, so I just talked to my therapist. Turns out it's your fault.
Can't.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
No, it was, I mean, it was definitely like, and he used the buzzwords of like, I don't want to minimize your feelings. I know this is so bad, but I'm just like really alarmed at how, you went through my phone.
He
And
was
to be
taking-
honest, like my first thing, like I feel like I'm a very open person in general, but I don't really have anything to hide on my phone. So I don't think I would care. Like I
You
let
seem
anybody like
so-
look on my camera
You seem
roll,
so
like,
kind
whatever. Like
though.
it doesn't affect, like I wouldn't be freaked out by someone going on my phone.
well, that's the
But
thing. You
he-
could have gone through his phone and you could have found nothing. And then you could have either kind of had that moment with yourself and been like, you know what, that was silly of me. I shouldn't have done that. And you could have even have said to him the next day, listen, can I be honest with you? You left your phone open and I had a moment of weakness and I went through your phone and I just got to say, like, thank you for like proving
Yeah.
all my insecurities wrong and yada, yada, yada. And then that would have been like such like a minor little like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But at the end of the day, thanks for being who you
Yeah,
are,
prove me
blah,
wrong.
blah, 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 blah. And like, turns out, like, again, this wasn't like one message because, yeah, going through someone's phone is not necessarily a great habit in a relationship. You want trust. And I am a big believer too, if you're looking to find something, chances are you're going to. Like, you could have been calling up and be like, I found something in his phone, and you could have told us, and we could have been like, yeah, but I guess, like the ex-girlfriend. If all you found was a message to the ex-girlfriend, and then we were like, well, what's that message about? And it's like, well, they ran into each other and they exchanged kind of like friendly banter, but there was never really any crossing the line. And even though it like annoyed you that he talked to his ex and didn't tell you about it, which would have been wrong and you would have the right to be upset about it, but like we could have talked it all through, and at the end of the day I've been like, you know what, maybe there's nothing really there. You shouldn't have gone through his phone, and maybe just some better communication. But this is a laundry list and an historical pattern of him talking to multiple people and saying wildly inappropriate stuff for a guy who has a girlfriend, and he's very much giving fuckboy in his single era
Ah.
and not like deeply in love and in a committed relationship talking about his future. And that's the big problem. And like, is he still fighting the whole phone thing? Like, I mean, I guess where do you want to fight for this relationship, or do you want permission to break up with him? Because we can give it to you.
So that was kind of like my, I don't know, like my first reaction, like when I was reading these, I like felt bad for him in like a pity kind of way where I was like, ugh, like, why do you feel the need to do this? Like,
Well, that's the big question. Why
know.
does he?
You're
Yeah.
far
Yeah,
too
and-
kind. You're far too kind. Tell him to stay in therapy and run away. Tell him stay
I
in
know,
therapy.
that's kind of like my like fatal flaw sometimes where I'm very into therapy and like, psychology and that kind of stuff. So I'm always looking for like, okay, well, why did this happen? Or why did you do this? And kind of what he also said too, like in our initial conversation, was that this has been a thing for him. Like he had a girlfriend for 5 years
Okay.
up until 3 years ago. He's also 31. And I guess this was kind of an acceptable thing in his past relationship. The girlfriend apparently was like, as long as there's no action, it's
I don't
fine.
believe that.
Yeah. That's
That's him being like, I have this ex. She let me do this. And so I just like thought every girl would let me do this.
Is that basically what he said? That's a lie. There's no way. There's no. Is
Well,
this,
yeah,
is
that
this
was
the same
pretty much it.
ex-girlfriend he's been DMing with, or someone else?
Yeah, the same one.
Oh, well, great. Well, you can reach out to her and ask if it's true. There's no way. What?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
And he also did bring something up about how like he's talked about this in therapy, and it's like some attention or like validation thing.
Sure.
And
Yeah, that makes sense.
and 100%. And also, truth be told, like in my previous relationship, it was a very toxic, like very messy relationship. I was cheated on relentlessly. I did some retaliatory cheating. And I remember I felt like horrible about it. Like I literally wanted to like die. I just felt like the worst person ever. And then like going on in my life and into my relationships, like I feel like I can see, like I look at how I was feeling when I did that. And sometimes I'm like, how can you be going along for, like almost a year, like doing this, but then also hanging out with me and seeing me and telling me you love me. But you're saying all this shit to these girls.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised how people can do things, but
I know.
and then
that's
the
what
simple
I don't
explanation
understand.
is like he was getting something from them that he wasn't getting from you, you know?
And I did ask. I said, I was like, you not get enough attention from me? Like,
Sometimes
feel
it's
like
the
my
type
whole
of
life
attention
revolves
people
around you. Like,
desire.
I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of wanting new attention, you know? Sometimes it can't be enough. Some people are, suckers for that constant fix of making sure it's always like building that roster of attention, Sometimes it is a numbers game, especially for men. It's just like, it's not about any more meaningful connections. It's about just making sure they can, I think a lot of guys
what I felt like those DMs were.
Yeah.
Because it was like the message, the response, no response.
Yeah. It's very much as a guy, like I don't know, maybe women feel that way too, but just knowing you can and just putting it out there. And he's doing the thing where it's just like, well, it's not real. He is obviously justifying it to himself. Well, I just messaged someone. I didn't really do anything. I didn't even respond to their message. It's like he has a pattern of that, and he's trying to justify it. So that's, one, if you were trying to make it work with him, you have to first figure out why he's so willing to justify the stuff. And then two, figure out why needs to do this. But your big problem is he's trying to defend it now. And I wouldn't even blame his therapist. I mean, people are notorious for like listening to the therapist and then taking what they want to hear, selective hearing from their therapist, and then regurgitating it to like, say, people like you. I bet if you would talk to his therapist, they'd probably be like, I didn't say it like that,
Yeah.
They mentioned like one moment, it's like, well, she did go through your phone and that's not necessarily healthy. And he's like, you know what? Fuck that. Yeah, it's not. And like completely, who knows? You know what I'm saying? So like, I wouldn't blame his therapist. He's clearly not wanting to I think the big takeaway is he's not interested in taking actual accountability.
Yeah.
He's not falling on the sword and being like, you know what? This is fucked up. I do have a habit of this. This is gross. Like I'm embarrassed for myself. And even then it wouldn't be a sure thing to actually choose to forget him, but he's not saying any of that. And that's more than anything, the bigger red flag.
The thing that concerns me is that like the initial conversation, and I feel like we've had a very good relationship up until now. And I think this is also why it's like so like shocking to me. And I don't know, like he's normally very good with if there's like a conflict or if I'm like upset about something, he's very good at handling it. And, Saturday he handled it the way that I would have expected him to and taken the accountability. But then the next day I was like taken aback because I just was like, I've never seen this. He's never given me that kind of reaction to things where it's like, well, he's never like, well, you're dramatic or you're like nothing ever like that.
He called you dramatic?
No. I'm saying he's never said that, like, and never had that reaction to me when we've had, an argument or if I'm upset about something. So then all of a sudden this like this idea is coming up of like the kind of gaslighty, like turning it on me or making an excuse which it's never been a thing between us before.
I feel like he definitely got defensive. I feel like you pointed out something that he's been doing because he is missing some sort of attention or validation, and he needs that, like, do I still have it? Can I still get these girls? I might not want them, but will they still respond to me? And I think you calling that out and him, like, you being like, you've been messaging these girls, I think he got embarrassed. And I think that's why he was like, turned defensive, turned it on you. I don't think that's like who he is as a person. I don't think that this is like some side of him that you've never seen. I think you caught him in the act. He got very embarrassed and he handled it extremely wrong, is what I think.
I agree. And I felt that was kind of also the feeling that I was getting, like when we were talking about it. It was almost like he wanted to like crawl out of his skin and hide, like very like humiliated, embarrassed, like. And I'm also like, I was very calm, but I can have a way with words. And honestly, the first thing I said to him was like, I don't understand the reasoning and like what urge you have to be doing this, but you should get it checked out by a professional. And he was like,
was that before? And then he did, and then he came back and said it's your fault.
Yeah.
So I should have taken back the professional part because they're not professional.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
never mind.
You know, you. It sounds like you can acknowledge that that last part you kind of said to hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it backfired. Not shocking.
No.
But like, what do you want to do? I guess because like I don't disagree with Natalie. I mean, like, this is not for necessarily art to say. People have gotten over worse. You know, like you could choose for this not to be a fireable offense. You know, like it's not fun. It's not easy to get over. And there might be some healing involved, but like you could.
But things tend to come up a lot once it happens once. So are you willing to deal with this for the rest of your life if it keeps coming up? Are you willing to deal with that? That's the real question.
But also I think you can go from this and say like, okay, we're going to work through this and it's going to be okay. But we have now, from this point forward, we have an open phone policy. And it's not like I get to go through your phone
That's good.
and look through whatever. It's I know your password, you know my password. Like if I want to if I want to Google something because my phone's charging in the room, I'm going to grab yours and Google it. It's not like there's no gray area. It's not weird. It's natural. It's your second phone. It's natural. It doesn't feel weird to like grab his. He shouldn't be like scared that you grab his.
Yeah, it shouldn't give him anxiety when you're like going through his, not going through his phone, but like Natalie said, I know Natalie's password. She knows mine. There are times where, we have a kid, right? So she's like, hey, can you look this up? I don't know where my phone is. It's like hidden in the couch. And I grab her phone, I go in her password and I Google something and I'm in her phone. And I'm not looking at her DMs. I'm not looking at her text messages, but I have full access to her phone and vice versa.
Healthy. That's
and I don't, it's like, I'm not worried like, oh, fuck, I just don't look at this. Don't fucking open up that fucking pen. Don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. Oh, thank God. You know what I'm saying? So like, to Natalie's point, suggesting that he shouldn't be like, well, why do you need to? Are you going to go through my phone? It's just like, well, the idea is the idea shouldn't bother you, and I need that type of security given your past.
And I think you're smart enough to see. You can tell when they start acting weird, when it starts being like, here, no, I'll just look it up for you. Or like, here, why don't we just find your phone? When they start getting weird, you can be like, no, why? Like, and I think you can read that and you can go off of that. But I do think having an open phone policy really will ease that like future anxiety and heal this wound. And maybe you can grow from it.
And I think that's kind of what I'm looking for is the things to do to move on and heal and like work through it. And I think I've kind of just been going through all these emotions, and my big thing at first was like, okay, let me like take a minute and like feel all these things. And then once I'm kind of like leveled and calm, like I'll look at it. And my other idea was, we're taking note of this, like this is down on the books. I'm going to proceed. And now that this is a thing and that this has been acknowledged, like, this is noted. I'm not necessarily going to be like holding it over his head or like anything like that. But I think being aware, like, I don't want to move on acting like I can't ignore this, I can't act like this never happened.
So I have a question for you. part of this was so hard because it felt like the relationship was going really well. So it came out of left field.
Yeah.
Do you right now today, despite what's happened, even though this happened, the question still stands. Have you leading up into this and still now feel like he loves you? Do you feel his love? And do you feel like he desperately wants to be with you? Like, do you know that without having to ask them, or has he communicated that? Or is it this one of those things where like, well, yeah, we had a good relationship because we get along and nothing was a problem and I guess our sex was okay. But like in this moment, are you like, I know he's obsessed with me. I know he loves me. I feel that love constantly. How would you answer that question?
I would say yes. And I think like that's what scares me though.
Why?
Because it's like, how can I like feel that? And like, how can he say all these things, but then be doing all these things? Like I think that's what freaks me out a lot is and I said to him too, I was like, where do I come when you're doing this? Like, where do I come into it? Like, do I not even occur to you? Does it not even, you don't even think that, oh, this would upset her? Because everything I do, like, you know, whether I'm making a dinner plan or whatever it is, like he's the first person on my mind.
Sure.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I don't think he does think of you. And honestly, I think it would be worse if he did think of you.
Yeah.
You know?
And have you ever had a moment? I mean, I know it's really hard to sometimes hear that or even think that, but in reality, if we really put ourselves in other people's shoes, I think it's possible to realize that we've had moments of selfishness. You've probably done things. Do you have siblings?
Yeah.
Parents? Are you have a relationship with your parents?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure you love them a lot. Have you ever done something where you clearly did not consider their feelings that hurt them?
Yeah.
Right. So like when you ask yourself, how could you do this? Like, you know.
Yeah. I guess it was really just all about him.
Yeah. But I think that's it's good that you feel that, because I think a lot of times when we talk to people, it's just like, well, how does he make you feel? Or how do they make you feel? And people have a hard time answering that question. So the fact you can answer it is good, you know, and I know it can be scary, but yeah. So now you have to figure out, why he is doing this, and how can you build that trust back in a way that you don't have that instinct to ghost through his phone. Yeah, it's good to have that policy, but like you don't want to have that policy that you actually. It'd be weird if Natalie and I had this policy, and every day I was like, well, thank God, you know, another
pull up the DMs.
Yeah, another day in the clear. That's right. You know, like like in those warehouses where they're like 100 days without an accident. You know, like, that would be weird.
Exactly.
You know, but like you have to heal again. And so I also say this as it sounds like two individuals in therapy. You know, as he is and you are very pro therapy. You know, I think that's great that you are. But you for the very reason that you demonstrated it, you have to be careful that you guys aren't using it's like, well, I talked to my therapist, and it's, well, I talked to mine, and you know what I'm saying? That's a great sign of two people getting into couples therapy. You know, that might be something that you guys could benefit from, because you guys going to individual therapy, great, continue that. That's how you guys continue to work on yourselves. I hope he looks into this on his end. But him coming to you and talking to you about what he learned in therapy is really, I find it to be sometimes offering more harm than good. Because again, I don't think even without trying, we sometimes can quote unquote weaponize that against, it's like we have the best intentions, but we want to talk about what we learned. And it's like, well, that really sounds like you're blaming me for something. You know, and sometimes I think we, again, we'll selectively hear what a therapist is trying to say. Where in couples therapy, you guys could be talking about something that triggers you or vice versa. You have this couple therapy is like, well, wait, you're not hearing what they're saying. Go back and repeat it. They can pay attention to, again, what a good couples therapy is literally there to do is to mediate, right? And make sure that each other is hearing the other person. And when they don't, they pause, point it out, kind of recenter, reconnect. And like, it sounds like maybe you guys could benefit from that, because like individual therapy, you're working on yourself. You're not necessarily working on the relationship. Now, it might benefit the relationship, but like, I don't know if you can get to a place with him from a healing standpoint without you guys getting on the same page. And right now, clearly you're not.
Right. And that's how I feel like in his mind, he is, quote unquote, very offended and upset that I went through his phone. And then in my mind, I feel like he's not really grasping like how hurt and upsetting this is to me.
Yeah. Have you asked him what about it offends you so much?
typical invasion of privacy, crossing a boundary, that kind of thing.
Tom, it's gonna get worse then.
But like, what is the boundary? What is that boundary?
I think so. The way he like was describing it and how I like made myself a meal and like got in bed and took his phone and like put the TV on, and it was like I was in a movie like getting to work, and I was like, yeah. And really, and to be honest, I said to him, like, I'm sorry that offends you. I was completely purposefully saying, like, I'm sorry you feel that way, because I don't really think that I am. Like, I mean, look what I found. It'd be different if I didn't find anything. I'd be like, yeah, that was like screwed up of me. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know how to like have a conversation where he can like completely grasp how like hurtful this is to me without like considering this whole phone thing. And also don't know if there's like a productive way to say like, forget about your damn phone.
Kind
Like,
of.
look what you've done,
I mean, you almost kind of have to say that. You just be like, I'm not going to argue semantics with you over like a phone policy. At the end of the day, like I would have loved to have gone through your phone and not found something and apologized for questioning you. But that didn't happen, unfortunately.
Right.
So
and I feel like it should be null and void, the phone thing, because
and like,
of what I found.
You can say like, you go through my phone. Like I take great pride in being in a relationship, knowing that like my phone, like I trust you guys say I love you to each other. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like we say I love you to each other. Do you guys live together?
No.
Okay. But you spend a lot of nights together, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you. We say I love you together. We're spending all these nights together. Like I tell people you're the person I trust the most and vice versa. So like going through each other's phone for two people who say they trust each other, like clearly shouldn't be an issue. And like, yes, I guess I'm sorry. It's not that you went through his phone. It's that you doubted him. But unfortunately,
But I was right.
Exactly. Because he wouldn't, anyone, like if I walked home and I caught Natalie in like this like deep dive in my phone, and let's say I left my phone, I'd been like, why are you going through my phone? I would have been like, it would have been a little weird. I'd been like, that seems off, but I wouldn't have been triggered. I'm like, did you have fun? Was that enjoyable? Like, is there something I can help you out with? Is there a reason why you had, but I'd be totally calm. I wouldn't have been like, how
that's kind of
dare you? Like, it's just like, cause there's just nothing there that I'm, but I would have taught, I would have been like,
that was my point.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like the people that get so upset and offended about this are the people that have things to hide.
Correct.
Because I don't think you could look at my phone right now, tomorrow, next week, any day.
And yes, you can acknowledge, yes, I wish I didn't feel that. And that's something, if we choose to stay together, we need to also acknowledge and work through as a couple. And I'm happy to talk about that. But for you to try to completely turn this around on me and act as if my actions somehow let you off the hook, he's trying to sell it as like, well, if you had never done it, you would have never found it. And therefore, I wouldn't be in trouble now.
Right. And I said to him too, I was like, so what was the plan? Like, were we just going to keep going along and you were going to keep doing this? Like, what was the idea here? And really, like, I don't know how else I would have really found out. Like, he's a bit older than me, kind of has a different like group of friends. Unless I had some hey girly text in my DMs, like, I don't know how I would have found out. And so I'm not necessarily mad at myself.
Does he post you on his Instagram?
On like stories, I haven't posted him. I'm just like I'm not a big poster.
I just didn't know if the girls
But do
he's
you
DMing
post?
with were like,
well, and like he hasn't posted a picture in like months, and he did make a comment about, because I said like, when was this going to stop? Like, when was there a plan, or were we going to keep going? Like, what was the deal? And he was like, well, I feel like after, once I like posted you on my thing, like it would stop. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because it's not like girls are DMing you.
Excuses.
You're DMing girls.
Yeah.
You deserve
So
better, girl. I know all your
process.
girlfriends probably tell you this, but you deserve better.
Thank you. And that's kind of what I've been like thinking about. It's like, I don't deserve. I'm the last person. I feel like I'm the last.
Yeah, girl,
person
you have
to
the whole
deserve.
package.
But
Well,
also, it's like, I think people make mistakes. People are flawed, and none of us are perfect. And I don't think this is a fireable offense, right? He did he messaged some girls and he said some flirty things and it's fucked up. And if he takes accountability for it and he continues to work on himself and he is like, here's my phone. Like, if you ever want to go through it, I swear there's never anything in it. Like, I promise to you right now that this will never happen again. Then
I want to
think
do the work and let's build our trust back and really going for.
But it doesn't seem like he's doing that.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
You know?
No, like, and that's kind of the other thing. And that's when we talked on the phone last night, and I was like, he has a big job. I have a big intense job. Like, but I was like, I feel like this is like overtime hour. Like, you should be putting in overtime, and you're not. And
that's the
think
thing.
That's weird.
And back to my question of, do you feel like his love? But like, he should be the one who gives you the answer if this is worth fighting for through his actions.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't have to convince him of how to proceed. He should be making it so clear how desperate he is, and not even having all the answers as to how he can get back to a place where he wants to be with you. But he should make that very clear. If you are the one trying to come up with ideas of how to fix the relationship, if you're the one who's like waiting on him to, figure out where he's at, if you're still confused by all of this, then I think that, to Ava's point, that's a huge red flag. So it does seem unclear, like, whereas we sit right here of like really what you should do next. And it sounds like this is raw and new.
Yeah.
But right now, he's not handling it the way we would like for him, for you to try to make this work.
Yeah, it's like, unfortunately, the ball is in his court. And it's like, what your future with him depends on how he continues to act.
Yeah. And last night on the phone, he was like, well, I just don't, because I said the overtime thing. I was like, I feel like, he should be doing a lot to try to fix this or keep this going. And he's like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, and I'm also normally like, when I get upset about things, I like to be alone. And like, I just kind of like to have my moment until I'm like ready to talk. But like, that's not how I'm feeling right now. And I said to him, like, he asked, he was like, well, do you want your space? Like, do you want your space? And I was like, no, like, I don't really want space right now. Like, this isn't the time that like, for you to check out and be like, all right, well, I hope she gets over this.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I just don't think most people, and especially guys, when they truly feel like they fucked up and they are about to lose something they desperately and deeply do not want to lose, they're not going like, well, are you sure you want your space? I just want to give you your space.
That means he wants his
They're not doing that. Like, it usually means he's fine with the space that you're giving him or wanting from them. The fact that you had to ask that question, the fact that you had to point out to him, like, shouldn't you be doing more? The fact you had to come up with that whole analogy about overtime and relationships, that's a huge red flag. And I hate that for you. I really think you need to do nothing right now and see what he does.
Okay.
I agree.
And he doesn't have to have all the answers. That's the thing. He doesn't have to have any answers. All he has to say is, what can I do? What I want to do more. You're right. Like, back to your original point, like, I've realized that I'm sorry about the whole, like, putting it on you. Like, yeah, I don't love that you went through my phone, but you're right. I see the bigger picture. I'm embarrassed by this. I'm grossed out by it. Like, yeah, that's not that hard. Like, we've all had moments where, like, I've had times where Natalie's like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I have nothing to say. Like, and yeah, I could give her like some small explanation, but at the end of the day, it was like, oh, fuck, yeah, I'm just like, I'm embarrassed. I fucked up. Like, what do you, and I'm really sorry, and, this is obviously a much bigger thing, but it should be that at the end of the day,
Yeah, this deserves a long apology. I mean, I'm a fan of a long apology, like over and over again. Let me make it up to him. So sorry, I'm never doing
and
this
that was
again.
kind of my thought process.
Like, he needs to.
I feel like you should be begging and pleading and prodding, but
but you shouldn't have to tell him that. And that you're going to have to try to hold your challenge for the next few days is to not give him the notes and how to fix this. You can't give him the playbook of how to make you feel better. He has to come up with that on his own. And if he can't, then that is your answer. And if he does, then that's at least a green light for you to say, maybe this is worth fixing. Maybe we can get to a place. But like your answer is in how you address the next few days. And you have to
Yeah.
literally do nothing and then see what he does without giving him any notes or any feedback. And you can't even like tell a friend to tell him, because we do that sometimes. You're like, if he
Yeah.
just does this, and by the way, he's not doing it. So you just like tell him to fucking send me flowers and just like, and it's going to be very difficult for you to do nothing and
Yeah.
see what he does, because you know, you might have to grieve again, you know, in 4 days of all of a sudden you see his actions and being like, well, you know what? Honestly, I know what Nick would say, you know, and then you're going to be really sad about it. And you might be forced to end a relationship you don't want to end. But,
Mhm.
you know, to Ava's point, you know, if he's not willing to address it the way that it needs to be addressed, then all this is this a preview of your future with him?
So if he like reaches out once I know tonight he's going home to his family, but like,
He can still call, you know, I'm just saying.
okay, so
You'll
like
know.
answer the
You'll
call.
know.
It's not
What?
necessarily like
Have a
ignore.
conversation for yourself. What I need. What do I
Yeah.
need from him? And it's not answers. What you need is effort. You need to know. You need the reassurance. You need the, you know, what can I do? You need him to fall on his sword, and you need him to humble himself into whatever. What can I do? And that's just the start. Again, that's not you being like, you know what? I now I can forgive you because you're willing to do anything. People say all the time they're willing to do anything, and then they show you that they're not.
He knows you're stressed. He knows you're stressed. And so for him to not reach out as much as you're saying he's not, he
Mhm.
needs to if he loves you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think you definitely answer his calls. And then I think if he tries to continue on with like but you went through my phone, you can just be like, listen, this isn't the conversation I'm having. So like call me back when you want to have a different one.
Yeah.
You can hang up.
That was my next question. I'm like,
Yeah.
if the phone is brought up again,
Yeah.
how to respond to that.
Yeah.
But again, that's your answer. It's him not doing what he needs to show you that he's willing to take accountability, humble himself, and start the healing process. And right now he's trying to win. He's trying to win the argument so that he doesn't have to do the work and doesn't have to apologize. So like, yeah, you can say whatever you want if he asks those questions, but it doesn't even matter how you respond. It's just listening to his answers through his words and his actions. You can just be like, you know what? That's all I needed to hear. Okay. Because
Yeah.
that will be his answer. And the more he does that, the more you're going to get, unfortunately, an answer you don't want to have, but it will be the clarity that you are looking for. Because the last thing you want is to work on this relationship by yourself and do all the work because you're too afraid of giving up what you thought was great, but realized it wasn't. And then, you know, have to break up with him 12 months from now because you finally realize he's actually not doing anything.
Yeah.
So he'll give you the answer, I guess, is the, you know.
Yeah, I hope so.
You'll
I
have
hope
to
so
give
too.
You'll have to give us an update.
Oh, I will. I will.
You have to.
Good luck.
All right.
back.
So do not let him reach out. Don't follow with him. Ball is very much in his court. And you don't have to be difficult, but like
Mhm.
think about what you want to hear from him, what you need to hear from him, and see if he does it.
All right. Noted.
All right.
I've been taking notes, so
Okay.
I'll remember this.
Well, let us know.
All right, I will.
all
Thank
right.
you guys so
Take
much.
care. All right.
you.
Sorry
Bye.
about
You too.
this.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Relationships are hard, Ava.
Have you ever gone through an ex's phone?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Did you almost? Because you look like you had to think.
No, I
about
had to
that.
think about that because there's been a couple exes, but I definitely know.
Never.
No, I don't need to. I feel like, yeah.
That's good.
It is good.
That's good.
At least I up till now.
Yeah, we'll see going forward.
What do you, but before we let you go, there's one more question. How do you feel about, I know are you with Universal or you were with Universal
I'm
Music?
with Atlantic.
You were Atlantic. How do you feel about the music industry and TikTok and what's going on? Like a lot of music being pulled off of TikTok and a lot of artists being discovered on TikTok. Do you have any thoughts about that or advice for young artists who are relying on that app? And it's just kind of like, what's the insider baseball with that topic?
It's a tough topic for sure because I know people are kind of split in the middle right now. I mean, I like that new artists can get discovered from it and have no label and have no management, and it's a beautiful platform to release unreleased music and then have the fans really decide. I think that is beautiful. It's almost like just see what happens, and people who never maybe would have had a chance have a chance, and I think that's beautiful, right? But I guess the controlling aspect of it in ways where like controlling the music is not the best part for artists. But again, I always like a platform where artists who don't have any help can have the fans decide if they like their music or not. I think that's a beautiful
'Cause
thing.
like SoundCloud is kind of where did you get you
Yeah.
had a kind of SoundCloud moment and got discovered there?
I love SoundCloud. Yeah, it was the reason why I got discovered and signed. And I put one song on it.
Yeah.
And after a month, I had just like a bunch of record labels wanting to sign me, and it was all because of that one song.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy how it works for some people and some people it doesn't. My ex was a SoundCloud rapper.
Oh, I mean, look, whatever is written in the stars, right?
It's terrible. But you better believe I was rapping every word before. But now I'm like, it was so
Do you
bad.
still know his songs?
I'm sure if it was played, I would be able to sing
Mhm.
along. But
He's going for his passion. That's
Yeah.
the most
he's
important.
doing
thing.
it.
Well, Ava, it was so great to talk with you.
Thank you, you guys too.
Congratulations on all your success. Where can my audience find you if they want to listen to your music, follow you, consume everything that Ava Max is doing?
Oh my goodness! Right now, I just released "My Oh My," the first single off the third album.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a great song. Love.
Thank you. I'm so excited
Congratulations.
about it. Literally anywhere, Spotify, Apple, whatever. But I'm more excited about you guys. Y'all just had a baby and getting married. Congrats!
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we're excited.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Oh
Well, don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things texting office hours. Make sure you follow Ava, listen to her new music, all of the above. We'll see you back on Monday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.